The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Fream, and thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining Gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. You can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 81. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter, at Z2Z, Z-E-D-T-O-Z-E-D, over at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. So I'm back on the show, guys. I'm here finally. I took a couple weeks off. I had, a bunch of other things to do, but I'm not alone this time. It's, of course, I ended up spending most of the last show. I think I had more airtime than the two of you guys combined, but I have Randy with me. Randy, how are you doing?
This is the usual. This is always what happens. I'm rainy, and then there's a little sunshine. So I've been moving all week, which is miserable. I hate it. I absolutely hate moving.
Moving is the worst.
I'm sore. Yep. The weather here is disgusting. I'm sweaty. I'm just like sweat pouring down my face all day. It's gross. Someone drove into my car. They scratched the paint off the bumper. Then there's another scratch today. And everyone's terrible. Nobody leaves a note. Terrible. I'm miserable.
But you said gleam of sunshine.
But moved into the new house.
Well, that's nice.
It's awesome. It is super awesome. The neighborhood is super nice, so quiet. And so the funny thing is, I always joke about a studio. I say, "Oh, it's my studio."
Right, which is actually just your bedroom.
It's really it's a room with a desk in it. It's just a room, and it turns into the studio for like 3 hours a week when I record. But this house, and I was joking, I think last week when I was talking about moving in, about the new studio in the basement, because when I walked into this house and we were touring it and we were talking and I was in the basement, I was like, oh man, it sounds really good down here. It's not echoey. Well, it turns out I kind of overlooked something and forgot about it, but the previous owner of this house built a dark room in the basement, which is it's very small. It doesn't have a sink or anything. It just has kind of a table, like a bench / table, and a shelf underneath it, and normal dark room stuff. But it's lifted up, and it's like a proper. The floor in the basement is kind of rough concrete. It's very old. The house is probably 80.
Because there's corpses underneath that. That's a chop up room. That's what
creepy.
That is.
There is like a big hole in the ground. I don't know what was there. I don't know. My old house had it too. Maybe it's like a thing with this area, but it's just a big hole in the ground that just is a hole. I don't know. And they're always covered up with like a piece of plywood. And I don't know what they do. There's just a big hole in the ground.
Tremors.
Tremors, nice.
Tremors,
yeah, maybe Kevin Bacon's down there.
Yep. Stir of Echoes, yeah.
So anyway, this dark room is the perfect studio, and it's like a real studio. Like, I'm sitting in this room, and
how big's the room, though? Is it like big? I mean... No, it sounds like it's like a recording booth.
How many square feet?
No. That's a perfect description. It's like a recording booth. It's a little bigger than a normal recording booth. It's probably like, I want to say 10 feet wide, maybe.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Like 10 by 6, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it's not huge, but
it'll work.
It's like a large closet.
I'm just picturing you with your hand up to your ear, harmonizing. Oh, Gamerscore, baby! Trying to get your pitch down, and no,
that is not happening. But it's a little echoey. I mean, you'll probably hear on this podcast I'm still a little bit echoey, but the room is small enough that I could buy just a few acoustic panels, stick them on the walls, and that would be beautiful.
Just hang blankets. Just make it ghetto.
Yeah, but then the acoustic panels just look so professional.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. I get that for
And
sure.
they're cheap too. Like you can get like a big one. It's like $10 or something.
Hell,
So-
you could get like those egg carton.
That's what I was gonna say.
mattress
I could
things.
just get a whole bunch of egg cartons and just like tape them to the wall.
Yeah, that's really
That is
all
not
you need.
professional. No.
But anyway, it's great because and not only that, the basement is nice and cool. I don't disturb everyone else in the house when I'm yelling on the podcast at Volgar the Viking on my random to-do list, which I hate because it's a terrible game and poorly designed. Anyway,
Yeah.
on to you, Proulx, who is also here.
He's also
I'm
here.
here.
You've heard him chime in. Proulx, how is your life treating you?
Good. I didn't move or anything, so nothing really exciting is going on. But it's a holiday weekend, so that's exciting.
Yes, I'm so pumped for the 4th of July. Get
Freedom
4
Day.
days off. Wonderful. You know, you're making enemies with that, Randy. Freedom
I don't
Day.
care.
Yeah. There's a
because-
Pitchfork Nation wants to fight you.
I mean, that's fine.
They're going to come
can-
up there
can
and they're
go
going to
ahead.
smack you around with Canadian bacon and, you know,
Canadian bacon.
You know, the funny thing is
put
they
you in a
don't call it.
trebuchet and
They don't
launch
call
you.
it Canadian bacon in Canada.
Is it just bacon?
It's back.
No,
bacon.
because bacon's bacon.
Bacon's
Yeah,
bacon.
bacon is bacon, except when you go to Europe and Australia, then it is very different. But Canadian bacon, what we call Canadian bacon
it-
in America, is called back bacon in Canada.
Back bacon? That's gross.
Yeah.
Why would you call it that?
I guess it's the
made
cut,
from
like,
humans.
it's like the pig's back or something.
Yeah, it makes me think of people. I don't know why.
But
Doesn't
the-
taste like
But
people.
it
Canadian
did,
bacon is
but it
people.
did originate in Canada. So it is actually Canadian, sort of. It started there, but it's really an American thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my my, we call it my fight against nationalism, calling it Freedom Day or something.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Anyway, awesome 4-day weekend. We hopefully get a lot of stuff done for the show. Hopefully get a lot of gaming in. It's the start of the new month, man. It's just such an exciting time. Today has been a whirlwind of entertainment. I mean, so many things going on in the achievement world. We'll touch on those later. But prior to that, let's talk about wins of the week. And since Randy talked about his new house, let's talk about Proulx. What is your win of the week?
So I finally, people have been talking about playing this game for a while now, and I was on the fence because half the time people talk about this game, they are praising it. Half the time they're cursing it. Well, probably 70% they're cursing it and 30% they're praising it. But I knew it was a game I was going to get into, so I started Clicker Heroes.
Oh,
And I am loving it. It's great. I love it. I love this kind of stupid, pointless time management idling game. It's exactly the same as Make It Rain. It's the same game. It's the same game, but it's with an RPG kind of element instead. And I will admit I'm early in the game. I'm only 3 days in. I'm just under level 100 at this point, so I get it. I'm probably I'm in for the long haul, but we'll see if I get sick of it after a while.
let's get those purse strings open. Get the microtransactions.
No, I won't do that. Because worst comes to worst, you stop playing and you forget about it for 6 months. You come back and you're not even a quadrillionaire. The numbers that they make up are pretty insane. But I'm enjoying it so far. And I'm looking forward to a new daily game.
Yeah, that'll be great. Randy, what about your win of the week? Do you have actually, Proulx? What about the rest of your gaming? What else have you been up to this week? You just been spending all your time in Clicker Heroes, or do you actually do some other gaming?
Oh no, I did some other things. I tried to clean up some of my old random to-do list stuff before the end. I wasn't able to do it, unfortunately. I tried playing Tropico, getting a certain achievement. I got some other achievement, but I couldn't do it.
What'd you end with then for the month?
I think 13 or 14, I want to say.
That's a pretty good number.
Yeah, not great. It was better than the prior month, but I'm hoping to get 20 at least this week. We'll see.
20
Been
this
playing-
week?
I'm sorry, this month. Excuse me. That's
what I figured.
I've been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma, Xbox 360 game, before the Xbox One version comes out. That's kind of been my main game, my go-to game, because it's a meaty RPG game, and I've been enjoying it. It's not as exciting as I'd hoped it would be, but it's a long grind ahead, so I'll be playing that for a while. Played 2 different versions of Halo. Played a bit of MCC today, but I had our normal Halo session. We finished ODST as a group, and so now we're moving on to Halo 3. So we had our first boosting session, which was a disaster.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I shouldn't say disaster. It wasn't that bad, but nobody got anything accomplished. There was only 3 of us, and that's not enough to effectively boost in Halo 3. Fortunately, it looks like there's only an active player group of about 500 on Halo 3 at this point, so it should be fairly easy to boost.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to get a TA session up since it doesn't seem like we'll be able to get 8 people.
Were you guys using extra controllers? Because you can do that.
Not in Lone Wolves.
Oh, yes.
What we
not
were trying
in
to do.
If that's what you're trying to boost, absolutely not.
Yeah, we're trying to get the vanilla Halo 3 stuff done first, which is all in a free-for-all playlist, which is super obnoxious. But afterwards, if we can play... Well, Slayer won't work, I'm sure, right?
You need to... You can... Anything in social. So the thing with social is, if I remember correctly, you can actually fill a lobby with your party. So like if it's an 8-person lobby, like if you fill the lobby with 8 people, you can have 2 people with 4 controllers, fill that lobby, start a match, and it'll let you play with just you. You'll bypass matchmaking.
Okay, cool.
And do all those achievements. Now, you might have to search for each other, but like you said, with the low population, not going to be too big of a deal.
Yeah.
If there's 2 groups, half filling a match, searching at the same time, you're probably going to find each other.
We're definitely, because we actually have to do both the team Mythic, I was going to say, and that's it's totally different. The Mythic maps, and literally the Mythic map pack playlist had 0 active players when we were there, and it was like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to have any trouble getting most of these achievements. We just need to either get some bodies in there or some extra controllers. So we will see how that goes next week. Other than that, Randy and I boosted a little Killer Instinct last Saturday, and I've been slowly working through The Walking Dead on Windows 10 for my 3rd time.
Yikes.
That's it. Yeah. It's good. It's still good. It's actually still a really good game.
Randy, is your house the win of the week, and what else have you been up to gaming wise?
It's not actually, because I don't think I talked about this last week, but stop me if I did. So I think I've mentioned before that I really want to go to the legendary McPizza. There's still 2 McDonald's that sell pizza. And now there's 3, but there's one that recently started selling pizza, and it's an imposter and doesn't count. That one's in Florida. Doesn't count. But there are 2 McDonald's owned by the same person that never stopped selling pizza. And it's like the original McPizza. So, ran some numbers. This has been in the works for a couple of weeks. And it's official. The McRoadtrip is on. I'm going to McPizza in September.
McRoadtrip. And that's in Ohio, you said?
It's in Ohio. And Proulx is joining me.
I didn't know we were calling it the McRoadtrip. That's funny.
I thought I called it the McRoadtrip when we were talking about it.
You may have. I don't remember, though.
Yes, it's the McRoadtrip. So it'll be, for me, 24 hours of driving in 4 days for McPizza. And it will absolutely be worth it.
Wait, that's your win? That you've planned this?
That it is planned, and it's official, and it's happening, because I've been talking about it for a long time, and it's finally happening.
Perfect. You're locked in.
The McRoadtrip. I mean, I haven't booked the hotel yet, but I'm hoping to do that this week. I got one more person that might come along, so I gotta confirm. But it's good. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I don't get excited about things that much. Excited about the McRoadtrip.
No, you absolutely don't. That's great. What about gaming wise? Did you do anything fun this week?
Pretty much nothing. On Saturday, I boosted Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. On Sunday, I played Killer Instinct with Proulx. On Monday, I moved, and then I moved all day after work, every day until today. So,
yikes!
I played like 2 hours of RuneScape because I had a little bit of downtime and my laptop. And I was trying to play Killer Instinct on Windows 10, but it needed an update and it took too long, so I played RuneScape instead.
Sure.
Pretty quiet week for me. just due to the the moving.
Oh, for sure. It takes out so much energy. That's just miserable.
Man, I'm just sore. My entire body has been sore for like 5 days. I mean, I'm sure it's a good workout, but man, it's just and then it's like I'm moving all day, and then I go straight to bed, and then I get up, and I'm still sore, and I got to go to work, and I can't just rest. I'm back to moving, and it's miserable, but it's over.
It's the worst.
It's over.
Well, I assume you have to unpack and stuff, right? I mean, it's not like over.
Yeah, I mean, unpacking is not, lifting 20 boxes in and out of a truck in an evening.
Yeah, I just hate like the couches and the beds and that kind of crap.
Yeah,
that's the
getting
worst.
The couch in, that was a miracle. I don't know how we did it.
That's always terrible.
We thought we were going to have to leave it outside. And I really like this couch. We got this couch. It was like brand new. It's an old couch, but it was kind of decorative in these people's house that owned it before us. And it's like super good shape, really nice, really comfortable. It was like $60. They even delivered it because it wouldn't fit in our car. They delivered it, which was super nice. And so we got it, and we're like, how are we going to get this thing in here? And just somehow, we just twisted it in just this certain way, because we were about to give up and just be like, okay, I don't know how we're possibly going to get this in here. And then it just went right in. It was magic. I don't know how that happened, but the couch is in the house.
Perfect. As far as me, a super busy week just leading up to this holiday, trying to get a bunch of things done. All of my kids and their sports have all kind of wrapped up, but I've also tried to wrap up my monthly plan, right? I've made that huge spreadsheet for all the things I wanted to do in June, and I executed it for the most part. I did the alphabet challenge like I wanted to. I got 10 random to-do list achievements, which I ended up at 1,500 TA points, which means like all 10 of those combined to a 1.5 ratio, like it as an average, like everything just adds up perfectly. That's kind of, or I guess it's 15.0. Anyway, all my ratios add up to 15 exactly. Like, that's kind of cool. Anyway, so, I did what I wanted to do from that regard. And so my win of the week is, so it's definitely not the fact that I've gotten, let's see, so Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 4 nights in a row now, I've gotten 4 hours of sleep. Today included, actually. I'm nearing being awake for 22 hours now. It's been a rough sleep week for me. So I'm so excited about this weekend where, thank God, I get to sleep in tomorrow. I'm so pumped.
I don't know how you do that.
You should just go for the gold at this point. You're so close to 24.
Because,
round the horn, baby.
I'll sleep for 7 hours and feel miserable.
Yeah, it's because you're off your circadian rhythms. You don't get into that nice, you're waking up mid-REM. You got some weird.
That's super true because when I get up in the morning, I feel miserable no matter how long I sleep.
Yeah.
And then I hit the time I'm normally going to bed, and I'm more awake than I've been all day.
Yeah.
I'm kind of nocturnal, and work doesn't work with that. So,
same with me. I mean, I do the same thing. I get my second wind right now, right, 10, 11 o'clock, and you put a controller in my hand, and I'm ready to go till 1, 2 in the morning. But it sucks because I have to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and so I'm pretty good about. It depends on traffic. If traffic's what really kills me, because that's when the warmth of the car and the subtle vibration of the engine and stuff. It's like, oh, is it nappy time? Okay. Wait, no, you're driving. What the hell? There's been a few moments where it's like, okay, that's dangerous. That's not good. But typically, I'm fine. Although I have bumped my coffee intake up by a cup a day, so that's not great. I'd like to kind of wean off of that just a little bit. But
my other thing too is a coffee, caffeine does nothing. My body is immune to caffeine. It's not like I'm addicted to it and get withdrawals, because I can go for days with almost none and then drink a ton the next day and not feel it. So I can't even give myself that wake up, which sucks, because I know I think my coworkers kind of do that, and
I don't even know how you people drink that stuff.
Oh, I love coffee, but it makes me sick. It also makes me sick. So I can only drink coffee when I eat some fatty food.
Oh, I love it. It feels. It's like I like. I don't like cold coffee. I like hot coffee where it just warms the soul, and it's like a hug on my heart. It's great. And actually, so the first time this morning, so I've had to go to the gym early because we just had stuff in the afternoon. I'd mentioned like all that hail damage I had on my house. So finally, all the checks are starting to come in, right? So it's like $30,000 worth of damage on my house, $12,000 worth of damage on my car. I'm actually buying a new car tomorrow. I'm trading in this piece of garbage. But so like we got to meet with all these people and get everything lined up. So all my afternoons are shot with that in sports. So I got to go to the 5 a.m. gym class. And so when I go to the bands classes, the weight training classes, not so bad, right? Because you're not amping up your energy. You don't have to kick a bag. You don't have to do boxing. But when I do a kickboxing in the morning, it's like I have a heart rate monitor and I just can't get going. Like I can't. I'm so tired. So this morning, I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna do a pre-workout. Like that's a bit intense for me, but you're damn right I'm gonna have a cup of coffee before I go. And holy crap, did I notice it? My heart rate was just in peak condition. So I was amped this morning. And so anyway, totally off topic. Let's get back. My win of the week, the bunker. I started and completed that last night, 2 nights ago. Last night was Titanfall night. Wednesday night, I did stay up probably a little too late. I should have gone to bed earlier, but I was on a roll, and the story, man, that is a great little story there. I'm not going to say anything to spoil. What I do want to say is it's a little strange. Because the entire game is in FMV, and so you just got your cursor floating around, and so you're just essentially interacting with a movie. And the way that the story progressed, this was my favorite part, is that as it unfolded, I had an idea of where the story was going to go and how it was going to play out, and at the end it didn't, and in a good way. And like that kind of thing where I can get hit with a surprise like that, it makes me, it just really ties the whole thing together for me and makes it a great experience. I had a couple of jump scares, and that's the thing. It's not even, there's no combat. There's nothing to be scared about, but the atmosphere is real intense. So I had my headphones on. It was 1 a.m, and it got me. I had a little bit of a scare with one of the achievements. There's a missable achievement, and so what I recommend if you're playing it, to find a spoiler-free walkthrough. The one I had, and I'll see if I can find it for the show notes, is he did a great job of saying, like, you'll come to this room and it'll show you where you first walk in, and this is what we're going to do, because you can interact with things prior to any story-related items. So you just follow the video, and then he stops the video right before then you start to interact with other things that will progress the story. So everything then is completable. You don't miss anything. You read all the things, and you still have the satisfaction of figuring out some of the puzzles or figuring out where to go and how to progress the story. So it was an excellent video guide. That gave me my 100%. But the scare came in is because there's a missable. If you don't do something at the beginning of the game, then this item at the very end of the game doesn't show up. I was like, okay, well, I mean, I looked, I'm fine, I'm good. I'll progress. And so then the very end, I was like, there it is. I interacted with the object. Boom. Achievement popped on the screen. Okay. And then I go and I finish the game, and it's a game where there's 2 endings. So you have to do both endings, but the nice thing is you do the first ending and then you just hit continue. You skip the credits and you hit continue, and it brings you immediately back to the end, and you just pick the other ending. And so I was like, great. I looked at my achievement trophy thing, and it said, hey, you got 28 out of 28, 100%. Like, awesome. Uninstall. See ya. I'm done. And I went to bed. Went to work this morning, and I looked. And I didn't get my email that said, hey, congrats on your completion. Well, that's weird. Why the hell didn't that happen? And then I look at my TA, and it says you have 27 out of 28. Like, what? No, I had 28. The Xbox said I had 28 out of 28. How come TA doesn't have this one? And then I look, and it's it's that stupid missable one that was goofy. And I'm like, I saw the toast on the screen. How is it not here? And I'm having this panicky moment. So I pull up on my phone and I look at, and all of a sudden now the Xbox app on my phone saying, no, you have 27 to 28, but the one that you're missing, that's 100% unlocked. So, I'm like, I thought we were done with done unlocking. What the hell? Where'd this come from? So I was like, I didn't get to play around with it. I'm a little nervous, but maybe I'll go home and check this out. Literally within 5 minutes after I said that, it had come through. Now that being said, it made my completion look like instead of 2 hours, 10 hours. I'm like, well, that's crap. I wasn't on for 10 hours, so we'll see what the timer says when that's done. Anyway, long-winded explanation, but Bunker is sweet. It's on sale right now for the Ultimate Game Sale, if you guys are interested. Easy completion. It's a very interesting experience. I talked with Terrigan. He had a couple things that kind of took him out of the experience. My recommendation to you, if you do play it, is play it like a Telltale game, where there is an urgency to your actions. The way that the game is set up, there actually isn't. You can sit there and let the thing loop over and over, really. I think there's only a couple instances where you have to do something relatively quick. Otherwise, you can just sit there, and if you have to do a button prompt, it'll just wait for you to do it. The problem is that it's done on FMV loops, and so it'll have to try to match up the transitions really well, so you can't really tell what the loop is. But if you go quickly, then you may only see 1 or 2 transitions, and you don't have to worry about it. So and it heightens the tension because you feel like, oh, I need to do something quick, and it kind of just plays into how the story should go. So, just my recommendation to you: you don't have to play that way. You can do it super casual. You can listen to podcasts. You can do whatever you want while you're playing the game. That would be my recommendation. The other thing, I didn't really get a ton of time to play this week. So the other thing is our Diablo night. I'm at, you need to get to level 60 to unlock Inferno. I'm at level 59 and 40%. I stayed up till 1 a.m. just trying to grind out that just last little bit of XP, and I couldn't do it. So I think I'm going to try this weekend to get up to 60 so I don't hold everybody back on Monday when we go in our Inferno mode and just start knocking those achievements down. I actually think I will complete that game now. Kush Moose, who, he was kind of leading the charge with getting that 5 million gold, which I was like, this is obscene. I barely just got 1 million now. I'm at 20%. Well, you actually start to get quite a bit of gold once you get the higher levels of difficulty, and getting equipment that gives you higher percentages of gold. And so I think in the last play session we just had, he got almost I think like 300 or 400,000 gold, right? So that's, really, wow. It's not as obscene as it sounds. It's like, maybe 6 or 7 more hours, and he'll be at 5 million. So, like, really, we have to do a full playthrough on Inferno. I'm probably looking at another 10 hours of gameplay, right? So that's another month or two. So anyway, the final thing that I want to touch on as far as my gaming is concerned is Gianna Sisters Dream Runners. I use this for my G for the gamer tag to finish out the month, and one of the letters for the A to Z challenge on my second pass through. I only made it to E on my second round through, but
is this the easy one?
This is the easy one, and it is not. It is terrible. Oh my gosh, it is really bad. Now, what I didn't do, I set up bots. What I need to do, and I'm not sure I can, is to, can you set up local? I assume that's how you get it easy, is you set 4 controllers, you do local, and you just run off the screen, and they just immediately die, and you don't have to worry about it. I think that's how it's done easy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have to beat bots, and, it took me forever to figure out, because I was just running in circles with the bots, and I'm like, we're just doing laps. What is the point here? I've literally done 40 laps. How come, there's no timer. I don't see any, lap counter. What's going on? And it's like, well, no, you have to, get them off the screen to get them to die, right, essentially. Oh, crap. Well, that makes life a lot easier now that I have an objective to actually do. Anyway, it's bad. It is a bad game. And I'm going to play it again this month for, we got some G's that need to happen in the in the gamer tags. Like I said, we just talked about, it's new month, new lists, new fun, exciting things happening in the world, because July 1st means new random to-do list, new gamertag challenge, new... Did you guys look at the MoCAS this month that just popped up? Man, it is continually getting overly convoluted. This one is no difference. Very clever idea. M. Sewer and you've done a wonderful job coming up with a cool contest. And I'll recap all the rules at the end, but I want to mention it here just in case anyone missed it. So the way it works is you play a game, and all of the achievements in the game, right? So whatever letter that achievement starts with, you want to spell out the name of the game that it's in. So the example he uses is Destiny, right? So that's 7 letters, and there's an achievement that starts with a D, an achievement that starts with an E, an achievement that starts with S, and you go through and you do the whole game. And so then, let's take a game like, Clicker Heroes, right? So you're looking so within the game Clicker Heroes, I don't know what the achievement list looks like, but if there's a C, then that would count for the C. If there's an L or an I, right? And then however many you get, those are your submissions in for that game. Super clever, crazily convoluted. I am excited. I haven't even looked at my random to-do list to see what maybe I can cross-pollinate here, but... So
Killer Instinct, Halo Master Chief Collection, the Orange Box.
Yeah, those are slam dunks on those.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those are some fun new things we have going on. Other than that, I think we should just... the big news, the other big news that's going on this today... and of course, this likely is going to change. I'm very curious about where this is all going to fall out when the dust settles. But friend of the show, occasional contributor, Smirnov, he overtook Stallion 83 Ray today. So he got him up. He got up by about 500 or 1,000 Gamerscore, but then Stallion jumped ahead again, and I mean, so they're both very much aware that they are at that close, and so they're putting up some serious points right now to try and just jockey for that number 1 spot for a little bit. And I don't know if it's because Stallion just had his wedding and was just kind of took his gaming kind of step back a little bit. Maybe Steve got he's got some time off from work, and so he's been able to put up some more points on top of his normal game. I don't know, but it just so happened that, and this has happened a few times before, and so I'm very curious about where the dust settles by the time this show comes out.
I don't think he's passed Gamerscore before. He's passed TA score.
TA, absolutely. No, I know he got close before. He got within 1,000 points before, but I don't know if he ever overtook him.
Close. I don't think it was ever.
So there was a moment on TA when he did overtake him, but it didn't change any of the leaderboard positions. But if you did snapshots of their gamer cards, you could see the actual game score number was higher on Smirnov's than it was on Stallion's. But I don't know when they do the recalcs, likely overnight they would do the recalcs on the leaderboards, and if that changed at all. So by the time the show comes out, we may have a new number 1 in the world. But, it was fun because I know NBA Kirkland, he had posted some things over on Reddit. And it seemed like, I mean, of course, there are tons of people who are like, these guys are idiots. Why are they, waste of time, blah, blah, blah. But there's actually some genuine interest in, in the achievement hunting community of people saying, this is cool. There's some excitement here, right? There's a competition at the top. And we've been talking about it in Discord all day. And who was it? I think it was it Mitreal B or Fufu or a few people, but they're like, I want this shoutcasted. I want to see live streams of both of them on a dual box here, and then somebody shoutcasting oh my God, Smirnov's pulling out Energy Cycle. He's going for a big 1,000. Here we go. Just really play this up like it's really, this just giant event.
Turn it into an esports like Microsoft does.
Right, everything's esports. But it's exciting.
Gamerscore, esports.
It's exciting. Actually, this leads very well into our first news topic. I'd mentioned the Energy Cycle as universally one of the easiest 1000s that's available to us on the Xbox One. Well, there is a fast 1,000, I guess, what the hell does Sony have? It's not Gamerscore, but, Platinum's the completion. They have points associated with their trophies, don't they? Anyway.
Yes, but I don't exactly know how it works.
The points are worth it, whatever it is. But anyway, Sony has there was a game out there called 1,005 stars or something. Anyway, it's the game's tag, or it's 5 stars, 1,000 top rated. That's what the name is.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Which is that is a Shovelware Empire production right there. Like,
yeah, it's brilliant.
Like, I should sue them for stealing the Shovelware Empire
the
production
idea you didn't have
signature.
yet.
Yeah. So,
oh no, I've had that idea. Don't worry.
Yeah, and the way that they like even promote the game is they call it the world's fastest platinum. Like, that's like in their little tagline thing, and so 5 stars, 1,000 top rated. It's a tile sliding puzzle game. Very similar to like Qbot or something where you can like literally probably don't even have to look at the screen. You just have to shift your D-pad around, and you can get the platinum in 20 minutes. Well, Sony has said no. This game is coming off of PSN. We are pulling it down from the store. You will not be able to get it. The guy who promoted it, or is the developer, he has a quote here saying that he has pulled the game temporarily. Sony has pulled the game temporarily and asked me to change the game's name and not mention trophies in the store trailer. So is it simply that the way he's like saying, hey, buy it because it's an easy platinum, or like abuse the system or whatever? Or do they have an actual beef with what the game is? It's $1. The game is $1.
The name is so good though. 1,000 top rated.
Yeah. And so maybe if they just take the tagline of saying easiest platinum or something, maybe that'll be enough to suffice. But the reason I'm bringing that up, or this up, is what does this do for or mean for us in the Xbox community? Do you think that the Xbox One or Microsoft is going to make a stance on some of these easy titles where, now that they're promoting so much more of the independent developers, we are likely going to see a game like this on the Xbox Store? Do you think they're going to say, like, not even allow it to get on there? Or
a Shovelware Empire production on the Xbox One store?
I mean, so is Big Rigs, is there a chance then that they just, you can get your 1,000 in 20 minutes, Randy, but is Microsoft going to say, no, we're not okay with that?
Not with Big Rigs, because Big Rigs I'm putting at a 1 to 2 hour completion. However, the 31 Days of Noseball might be. Now, have I talked about the 31 Days of Noseball on the podcast?
Not Noseball, but you did mention you wanted to do just to get away from the refund thing, where you had a 121 minute gameplay or game time,
or 2 weeks after first launching the game.
15 days after first launch.
Yeah. So Noseball is an idea I had. It's kind of making fun of sports games, sports ball. Where you have noses with legs that are playing a game that resembles soccer, kind of, and it's all 2D, and that's Noseball. So you're, instead of people, you have noses with legs.
Okay.
And so I had the idea, of course, after Big Rigs launches, is you make Noseball, and then you have an event known as the 31 Days of Noseball. And the 31 Days of Noseball is every day for 31 days, a new game is released.
Okay.
Each one. And just like the sports games of the past, each new Noseball adds one new player, mixes up the rosters, and then has one new line for the announcer. And you have to rebuy it every day. You could say maybe delist it every day. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Shut down the servers anyway. The servers are open for 1 day. And then at the end of 31 days, then you do a retail release of all 31 Days of Noseball on a disc with a separate achievement list with 31,000 Gamerscore. That is physical only. You can't buy that digital. You have to buy the disc for the 31 Days of Noseball.
There's no way that's going to fly.
So that is the 31 Days of Noseball. Well, see, what I wanted... Now, obviously, this is a huge assumption of actually being able to get into the ID at Xbox, but I mean, it was greenlit on Steam. Anything's possible. I really want to push the limits. I want to see what they'll let me do, because I think that would be fun and kind of funny. Because, like, think about it. I want to launch Big Rigs with 700 achievements, just so it has more achievements than any other game. I don't know if they're gonna stop me from doing that.
I'd be curious about where, like where they're gonna draw the line, and
Exactly.
how far can you push it?
And that's the shovelware empire way, to see what we can do for comedy and money, of course.
I think, though, to get back to the original point, it was very clearly and blatantly crossing a line here. Like,
yes,
if Energy Cycle was promoted as the easiest, quickest, super quick 1,000-point achievement game, I think Microsoft would probably do the same thing.
I think so too. I think so too.
I think so. I think because it's so blatantly obvious what they're doing. I don't know. I think there's a distinction there between a developer that really probably doesn't know any better or isn't any more creative than the Energy Cycle, or one that's actively trying to take advantage of a certain segment of players.
But like, what about Soda Drinker Pro? Like, that's one.
Soda Drinker Pro was like a.
It was like a fake game to hide a different game.
But there's a real game inside of it.
Yeah.
See, that's what makes me so mad about Soda Drinker Pro. Is the real game inside of it I was actually interested in. Like, it's super weird. Like, it's just kind of like a weird, like, surreal, like, I want to say exploration game, but it's not. Like, there's, like, other stuff in it, and it's kind of cool and creative. But then you just promote it as Soda Drinker Pro, which is, it's like a shovelware empire game.
Oh, yeah. It's hot garbage.
But it's, like, worse or something. I don't know. Something about it bugs me.
There's a lot that should bug you.
It's too long.
It's
I mean,
terrible.
that's the thing. It should have been like 10. It should have been like 10 or 20 levels, but it's like 99 levels or something, and it just drags on. And it's like,
I mean, how much do you want them to dictate? I mean,
that's just it. I don't. But I don't want. I mean, because the way it stands now, and they're not. I mean, they are involved, but they're still letting some of these things go through. I don't want somebody to be like, well, I'm just going to see how much I can abuse it. And then you break it for everybody else. That's what I don't want to happen.
It'd be terrible if somebody were to just say that out loud, right?
I guess the other thing, too, you mean like I just did?
I just did.
Just like you just did.
But the other thing, too, now, despite me not liking Soda Drinker Pro, I don't think it should be removed or blocked. I mean, it's a game people paid money for.
Yeah, there's gameplay there.
And, if you want to make a joke game, do it. I mean, there can be comedy in gaming, and that was what it was. And, and that's kind of what I want to partially want to try and do with Big Rigs. And it's just that thing is like, the other thing too is, I'm pushing the line, but like, I don't think trying to have 700 achievements in the game is going to ruin anything. I'm not going to I'm not going to promote it as an achievement game, because that's lame. You got to be creative with it. That's just
there's no way it would work.
That's a money grab.
They certainly wouldn't allow you to do that.
Well, I mean, we could see.
Let's try. I don't think they would allow.
Let's get in touch with 1,000 top rated. Shovelware Empire will publish. We'll sign a deal. We'll see how it goes.
I think. Come on. I mean, I think there is a very obvious difference between this game and Energy Cycle. I just think
I absolutely agree.
Extremely. It's like this isn't even we haven't even approached the gray area at all. It's so clear what was going on here. So of course, why I have no idea how much of the game exists outside of that trophy. Like, I don't know how quick, if you get it in 20 minutes and then literally there's nothing else to the game. I don't know, or whatever. But it's marketed in this way and kind of pushed in this way. Right. And I think that's definitely, there may be gray areas in between, but that's very clearly something else entirely.
Well, it'd be like if Avatar had said, "Hey, fastest 1,000," even though like there is a big game there, but you're promoting it as don't even bother, just quick unlock the achievements, you can be done with it. Yeah. Like I think that it's a marketing thing that besmirching, what people are doing as developers, putting time into a game and actually, promoting the game play versus, hey, just exploit the system for 1,000 points.
Yeah. Well, like the other thing too is even, my joke idea of a game like Noseball. I mean, obviously it's going to be short and small, but the point isn't for it to be, I mean, obviously the achievements are also going to be easy, but it's like there's still something else in addition to the achievements. It's not just like do a slider puzzle and get a platinum trophy. It's like, you know, play noseball and laugh at it for a minute, and then it's not overstaying its welcome. It's like there can be games that are only an hour long and you experience everything in them in that hour. And I think that's fine. But, you know, when it's just 1,000 top rated of do a slider puzzle, and I mean, obviously it's not that fast. Yeah. But same kind of thing. I mean, even a game like Q-Bot or Energy Cycle that you can complete in an hour or 30 minutes or whatever, you're also using a guide. You're basically... Right. It's just something that doesn't change, and you're bypassing the gameplay to finish it quickly.
Right.
There's still a game there. And
That's true.
It's not intentionally trying to be you can complete it in 20. I think really the key is in the intention.
Yeah, I think so
it's
too.
Like, is it just a short game that's 20 minutes long, or is it pay us $1, leave it on for 20 minutes and get all the achievements?
Yeah. Is it an achievement experience?
Yeah.
And that's it, you know?
All I'm saying, Randy, is don't break the system for me. I'm going to be real upset.
I don't want to break
Empire
the system for me either.
System.
Don't worry. I mean, Shovelware Empire is notorious for breaking the mold in all kinds of different mediums, and it's creative, and that's the process and the business model of breaking the mold. So we're going to try and break the achievement mold for everyone.
So speaking of achievement systems, you guys talked a couple weeks ago about, you know, there was a question from the listener who asked about Nintendo and how would you implement an achievement system there? And I was driving in my car and I was like, I have this is how it's got to work. And I was really excited about it. And so I want to talk about it here and throw my 2 cents in. So this is what I'm thinking. All right. They're going to go with coins. And so every game has 100 coins, and that's essentially your Gamerscore equivalent, right? So instead of 1,000 points, it's 100 coins, and they're in ones and tens. So you can have like red coins as 10, and then yellow coins as ones. So you can have one, you know, and then any, you know, however the combination of achievements go, it has to add up to 100. Then if you get all 100 coins, you get a 1-up mushroom, and the 1-up mushroom is your platinum trophy, essentially. So you get each game has a 1-up mushroom. And then in addition to that, you have 10 stars. And so these would be then like challenges. Not time dependent. I don't want any of that crap. But these would be like the more difficult. So you can have your normal, you know, gamer score for completing the game and doing stuff like that. And then the challenges are, you know, maybe it's like a leaderboard achievement or some type of speed run or something like that. Like pushing the system. Those are the star-based ones, and that Nintendo would then mandate that you need at least 2 challenges per game. So you can have 2 5-star challenges if you want. But the idea is a level of difficulty associated with those. 5 stars being a high difficulty, and 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. That's my achievement. That's my Nintendo achievement system that I think would be awesome. Any thoughts? What do you guys
think? That the idea that you should get the 1-up noise every time you complete a game is amazing, and I wish that was a part of the Xbox achievement system. If every time you got your final achievement, whatever it was, and I'm like, oh my god, that would be super awesome. Like that would make me so excited. I like it. I like it.
Will it ever happen?
No.
Never.
I don't trust Nintendo to implement anything like that.
No. We've got some other Nintendo news. Is with the NES or the SNES Classic was announced that it's going to be coming out this fall. And so one of the biggest things I saw on Twitter, there's a few funny things. Somebody went and, they have, 21 games on there? I think the headliner is that an unreleased Star Fox 2 game is going to be coming. That'd be kind of fun. And actually, looking at the list of games, like there's some really solid titles on there. Did you guys play SNES back in the day? Are you old enough, Proulx?
I am. In fact, I actually had a Genesis in my household, but I played more than my fair share of Super Nintendo in the day. So
yeah, and Randy's into retro. So even though he's 16, he still plays those old systems.
The SNES was probably I don't know. My dad had both, and I don't remember which one I started playing on more. I would guess the NES just because it had easier games. But yeah, I mean, tons.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not
system.
as much like the Nintendo first party stuff, but a lot of like kind of multi-platform, like
sure.
You know, I mean, that was the big one, Earthworm Jim. Like
this was my like quintessential gaming console. Like this is just the perfect time frame as a kid. You know what, it was like 10, 11 years old. I mean, this was like right the perfect age for me. And so yeah, I'm excited about this. So some of the fun things that were out there is somebody went ahead and just changed all the games. They said, "Oh, I'm really excited for these," and they put like all these super obscure Super Nintendo
like Shaq Fu.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like some of those, and it's like, oh my god, I actually played some of those games. Like they're just dreadful. But one of the biggest concerns out there is stock. Right? Because the NES Classic that came out is like you can't find it. And then they said, well, we just don't want to make that much. So, you know, we don't care about money and you're not going to be. So people are like, what? Like, are you going to run out of these? What the hell, Nintendo? And so Nintendo actually they have a what am I trying? What's the word I'm looking for? A press release. And so I'm going to read Nintendo's press release. It says, "We aren't providing specific numbers, but we will produce significantly more units of the Super NES Classic Edition than we did of the NES Classic Edition. The Super NES is currently planned to ship September 29th until the end of the calendar year 2017. At this time, we have nothing to announce regarding any possible shipments beyond this year." So they're going to do the same thing they did with the NES, is they're going to do it for the year and then just cut her off.
Why? Why? It doesn't make any sense.
It makes a lot of sense because they hate money.
Oh, so, that's right. That's right. I forgot that bit.
Yeah.
It is here. I don't know. It's like Disney. It's the Disney business model where they take a movie out and put it back in the vault. And it builds anticipation for the next release that they're going to have or however else they're going to do it. You know, and I know this is not the case, but I didn't buy an NES Classic, and I'm not going to buy an SNES Classic. But if they ever were to make it an N64 Classic, oh man, I would be all over that.
Yeah, see, I mean, if you really want to play these things, you just get an emulator. Oh, that was the other thing. They are extending the cord length for the controller.
Oh.
That was another big issue, is like the 3-foot cord, just not cutting it on the NES Classic.
I think it's 5 feet now, I believe.
Whoa, my goodness.
Yeah, so you can push that couch back a little bit. The other thing, too, that's important here is it's coming with a second controller. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
But it's more expensive.
I mean, I think the coolest thing of anything on there is the release of an unreleased game and the kind of precedent that sets.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's not even, so I looked a little more, and as far as I can tell, there is no ROM dump of the full release.
Yeah.
Now, there's apparently a super secret one floating around in some collections, but nothing that normal people can have access to.
Right. So the game was essentially
I think they're
complete.
all the Japanese version as well. It's not the localized
I don't know
English
about that.
version. Yeah, all the ROMs, as far as I know, were
the
Japan.
ROMs. Yeah, I thought you were talking about
I think are all Japanese. There's a fan-made English translation patch for the ROM, but it's not the official English ROM. So I think that's very cool, because that might mean that, hey, maybe Nintendo still has these games that are done or almost done, and they still have the rights to them, and they can, release an SNES game, 15, 20 years after that, when it was supposed to come out.
Right.
And, you kind of have this medium to do that, because it's like you're not going to release it on a cartridge.
No.
I mean, people would buy it like crazy.
Well, but they have the Virtual Console.
But yeah, you have the Virtual Console, and maybe Star Fox 2 is going to come to Virtual Console after they make $1 bazillion on the SNES Classic. But even so, even if it's just on there, it's cool that there is a medium for them to release these unreleased games that people want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only thing in response to that is the fact that I can't even think of another example of a game that was yanked that close to release as Star Fox 2 was. It's a pretty famous example of something that was essentially done and they just didn't. They just said, "Nah, we're not going to do it," because it was going to cannibalize Star Fox 64 sales at that point. That's what they were worried about, I believe.
Yeah,
I feel like that was much more common back then than it is now, though. I mean, like you would see games get basically to completion and then just disappear, and you didn't know what happened. And I guess Star Fox 2. I mean, I don't know, because I never really liked the Star Fox games. I just didn't really find them that enjoyable.
And you're not including Star Fox Adventures in there, are you? Because that was...
Okay, Star Fox Adventures I don't count. I mean, it's totally different. I mean, it's called Star Fox, but that's it. I enjoyed it when I played it.
It was not supposed to be a Star Fox game.
That's right, Dinosaur Planet.
Yeah, it was. They just slapped Star Fox in there and be like, yeah, this game sucks. Just put in somebody that they like, and they'll call it a Star Fox game.
Exactly.
No, thank you. That's not what I want. Please don't do that.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, when I played that game. That was the first Star Fox game I played. And I played different Star Fox. I'm like, what is this? This isn't... I don't want to play this. I want to play the adventure game. But, yeah, I mean... I think there's probably more games. I mean, obviously not a ton, and probably none as high profile as Star Fox 2. But there's probably some out there that are worth playing that maybe could end up like this.
What if they do like a I'm just, now my mind's going crazy, like a Game Boy, and not just, it wouldn't just be regular Game Boy, but Game Boy Advance, all this stuff, like classic.
Well, there's some memes out there of like people who shrunk down a Virtual Boy. And they showed that one. It's like, that's hilarious.
I feel like if they were going to do Game Boy, they'd do mobile, though, like a download.
That's kind of, I guess, but then they would just do that on their own on the Virtual Console. But if they actually came out with like a
no, I mean like a Game Boy Classic like app for Android or iPhone.
I get what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think they would.
Oh, I see what you mean. You have a whole Virtual Console store, not exclusive to
I think the novelty though would be that it is still shaped like a Game Boy. Like I think they would sell it as like, maybe it looks like a phone with a touch screen, but it would have, the Game Boy buttons and, the controller on the bottom, and that you could still do stuff with the touch screen, but then you could also use the buttons as your controller. Like that's what I think Proulx's talking about.
If you're doing a standalone, though, what would you use the touch screen for?
I don't even know it would be a standalone. I mean... I guess it depends on how you'd want to do it, but I'm thinking like you just make a controller shaped like a Game Boy Advance or something and have all of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and those kinds of games on there. That would be...
If you set it up so you can like slide a phone into it, like the Pip-Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You just make a Game Boy and then you slide your phone in there and have it plug in.
Actually. Although, it would be difficult. But yeah, it would be
difficult with the... Well, hell, they're already going to use your phone for the frickin' Switch. Like, oh, yeah, hey, you want party chat? Yeah, just use your phone. And just call your friends up.
That is the dumbest thing. the one of the dumbest designs I've ever seen. Who made that?
I don't know.
Who made that?
It really is just unbelievable.
Like, there's perfectly good.
Yeah.
Look at what everyone else has been doing for like 10 years. No, we're going to do this.
Yeah, well, and I mean, they're going off the precedent of how successful companion apps are. Yeah,
but are they really?
No,
people download them, but nobody likes them.
I'm being completely facetious. Companion apps are like the worst thing about gaming right now. Nobody wants a second device. Period. Like, it just doesn't work.
In the Division, in the Lie Engine version of the Division, you could fly the drone with your tablet.
Yeah, well, there's that.
But
hey, we should move on from Nintendo and talk about another retro console. I don't know if you guys saw this. I found this on the Extra Life community page. Atari has a teaser trailer, a 21-second teaser image, saying, "Stay tuned for the Atari box." Apparently, after 20 years, Atari wants to get back into gaming consoles. And so they have this little 21-second teaser. They don't say anything about it, and it's just this camera zooming around a computer image of what this box looks like. The best part of this, the faux wood paneling.
You say best, but I don't know if you mean best.
It's the best.
So has there
it reminds me of my old station wagon that I used to drive in when I was a kid.
Has this been confirmed to not? Because I just assumed, even before we just put these two news stories back to back, this is just an Atari classic. It's not a new modern system, right? That would be crazy.
I don't know.
That would be
I don't know.
So
well, the other thing too is like, is Atari's not even really Atari at this point? Haven't they gone bankrupt like 3 times?
A whole bunch, yeah.
So it's like it's not. I don't know. They have the name, but it's not the same thing. It's like Atari's dead. The name is not worth it. Like the name is so far detached from what it was.
Well,
you
tell Dean Takahashi that because he said, "quote unquote," we're back in the hardware business.
Okay.
So Atari Classic, I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Dean Takahashi, he's the reporter. I'm sorry, Fred Chisney, he's the CEO. He's back in the console business. Now, I mean, if you watch the little teaser trailer here, and it'll be on our show notes, if you watch the teaser trailer, like, it's got the wood paneling or whatever, but then the Atari, the very iconic logo of the Atari with the 3 lines coming down and flaring out at the bottom, like, that like lights up like the controller on an Xbox, right? It's got that like white LED behind there and has a very futuristic look to it. I mean, like I think this might actually be legit.
It looks glossy too. Like I just looked at the clip. But
there's no way. I mean, there's no way.
That would be suicide.
There's no way.
Like there's no room for a third Xbox. Like I feel like the games industry has gotten so big now that it's just giants. Like, I mean, even Nintendo basically can't compete with the 2 giants. I mean, it's like they're their own thing, and like they're I unfortunately doing okay. But does Atari really think it can compete
it's gotta be
with Microsoft or Sony?
It's got to be emulation or retro gaming. That brand means nothing to anybody else.
No.
It's got to be something associated with the heyday of the mid '80s with the Atari. I don't know what else this could possibly be that anybody would care about.
And even so, like, it's unless it's original Atari stuff, like I don't really care because most of those games weren't that good and they haven't really aged well. But it is kind of fun to like dig out the Atari 2600 once in a while and just pop them in for a little bit each just to play them. But I mean, really, Atari 2600 was as iconic as it was and important as it was, really hasn't aged very well.
Maybe it's an Atari branded Xbox and PlayStation 4.
2 in 1?
We'll just have to We'll just have to listen and find out. I have no idea.
I have no idea what it could possibly be.
I could go for that.
Let's
talk an Atari branded Xbox.
Let's talk about the actual Xbox, the Xbox One X. We had some news come out about how they're going to handle their 4K assets. And that games that have the 4K assets enabled will download those assets separately from the game disc. Of course, that's because the game disc has to work on the entire family, right? So they can't put all those files on there. But knowing that you're downloading it to an Xbox One X, that they'll pull in the extra files to give you the best possible image, even though you may not have the TV for it, maybe. Anyway, there's a lot of concern because people are already speculating that specifically like Forza 7 is going to run maybe 100 gigabytes for the 4K assets patch to do that. So
wait,
that's
just the patch?
Just the patch part of it, yes.
Wow, that's worse than I thought. So let's start. Do we know how much data or how much space is on an Xbox One Blu-ray disc?
The actual discs?
Like how much space is on a blank disc? Like how many gigabytes can we cram onto one of those discs?
10 megabloops. That was a guess.
Oh, what was it? I just had the number in front of me.
There's UHD Blu-ray, right?
Yeah, the UHDs. But the UHDs don't work on the original Xbox. That's the Xbox One, right?
Well, then they're not UHD Blu-rays that the games are being burnt onto.
As I thought the Xbox One S could do UHDs, but the day one Xbox Ones can't do that, and that's why they have to have this patch.
So, I mean, let's assume at least 80 gigabytes, right?
I think they're capped at 80.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't seen a disc that holds more than 80. Okay,
I'm just... Is this an issue? I mean, I get like why theoretically.
Well, I'm getting at something. I just want to start off before I start. So, I mean, you have a game. Let's look at what's the most recent Forza, Horizon 3.
Yep.
So let's see how big that is.
We'll do Halo. Halo 5. That thing is huge.
Halo 5's got 1 million patches, so it's different.
And microtransactions.
Because the base game was much smaller. So we look at Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah, but Halo 5's going to have Xbox One X enhancements, isn't it?
So it's probably going to be 200 gigs.
It's possible.
At least. Because it's like 120 right now.
Yeah.
With all the patches, which really, why is that game that big? Like this is what I keep asking, and I don't understand. It seems like they use like zero compression on all this stuff, and it's just horribly unoptimized waste of space. Like Dead Rising 3, for example. It has a patch with all the DLC in it that is almost the size of the game. Yep. Why is everybody downloading that DLC? Just download it if you need it. It's a waste of bandwidth and it's a waste of space in your hard drive. And it doesn't make any sense. And it's really like... I was just talking to Proulx about this before the show. It's like everyone is just assuming, oh yeah, everyone lives on the Microsoft campus and has fiber optic internet with no bandwidth caps and 1,000 megabits a second download speed. It's like, well, when the reality is that's totally not true.
Yeah,
I mean, especially in the U.S., internet is terrible. It's super overpriced. The speeds are bad. The service is bad. It's not keeping up with the pace of need for bandwidth and things like that. So you have this mandatory 4K patch that's not even coming on the disc. Like Forza Horizon 3 with 2 DLC packs is only 60 gigs. And that's with, all the title updates, all the DLCs in. So why aren't you putting at least some of that patch on the disc for people that need to install it off the disc? I mean, I'm sure I know why.
It has to be compressed too. I can't imagine why it's not compressed. And that is it because the system isn't going to be able to?
Because they don't have to care.
Open it?
I mean, who's gonna? I mean, why would they put the effort? I mean, I'm sure it's compressed in some way.
To answer Prue's question from before, I think the biggest issue is those data caps. Because there's so many people who are stuck with data caps right now that if you're there's a possibility. I mean, because if it's, let's say you're sharing it with other devices and things like that. I mean, or streaming. I mean, you literally might be able to only download one game a month and then have to shut down your, movie streaming because you wanted to play Forza 7.
Well, okay. I guess what my point though, and this may be overgeneralizing a bit. The people that are buying an Xbox One X, generally not the kind of people that have any issues dealing with a data cap or have data caps at all. I mean, you're buying an Xbox One X specifically. I mean, there's essentially no other reason to buy an Xbox One X except for the graphics, except for the fidelity, except for these amazing things that you're going to see on the screen. You have a fantastic home theater set up and all of this. This seems like such a silly thing to get hung up about when the people that this specific system is targeting are the people that are not going to have any problems with.
I totally disagree.
But
because
what about?
I mean, you're talking like Australia's potato internet. Like, I mean, they just the sheer fact that they live in another country that has crappy internet, like, it's going to take them forever to download this stuff from a time perspective. And they might still be enthusiasts of the there might be audio files, they might like the movie experience,
well,
they might like high. They'd have to move to a different city.
No, I'm certainly not suggesting that. I'm just saying, like, what benefit would these people have, generally speaking, to play any of these games then at that point? I mean, I assume, right, they're going to be watching Netflix or whatever your streaming app of choice would be. I'm saying I think that the entire point of the whole thing is that it's kind of pushing up. It's pushing towards the top tier of the top people, not top, but you know what I'm trying to say. The people that have access to the most resources for this kind of thing. I mean, I don't know I don't really understand the complaint, because what do? Okay, you're going to deal with 4K games. If you can't handle 4K games, then why would you want this system? That's the only thing that it does.
Now,
you can handle 4K games.
Yeah.
How?
Look at it this way. Okay, I live out in the country. I work on an oil rig. I make $150,000 a year. I have a big house. I have the best TV because I can get the best TV. I have all the gaming consoles. I have an awesome computer, but my internet sucks because I live in a rural area. I can get everything out there, and until this point, I've been buying discs because my download speed is so low, and I have bandwidth caps. What do you do when they say, "Oh yeah, you can buy the disc," and "Oh yeah, you have all the top of the line stuff, including the 1X"? Well, good luck downloading the 4K patches because you can't even get them on a disc.
Do we know that you will not have the option to not download the 4K patches? Again,
but then you
even in that scenario, I don't understand. Even if you had money just to throw away for no reason, still don't understand why you'd buy the Xbox One X. But
because you want a 4K experience.
Yeah, but you still want to play those games. You just want them on a disc.
Yeah,
but
you can go.
If it's a 200 gig disc, you can't play any 4K games on your disc anyway. So
no, but you install it just like you do on the normal discs.
No, okay, but you can't fit that much information on that disc.
Okay,
either way.
Then you have
so how do they do 4K movies?
Because movies are much smaller than games are, tremendously smaller.
Yeah.
But you could. I mean, yeah, you could do multiple discs. You could do different. I mean, the idea is that they would be on the disc that you could then download from the disc.
They need to be more efficient with their resource usage.
Okay, I guess, but I mean, at this point, I think. Well, we don't have to have this debate. It doesn't. I just think that they're targeting a different kind of.
No.
I mean, they're clearly targeting the more tech savvy, but that just because that group of people would be interested in this product doesn't mean that they're not immune to the issues that plague the United States and other countries with internet usage.
I don't know what the solution is. Again, like I said, if you're building these amazing
net neutrality is a good start.
Oh no! Hang on. If that's the argument,
this is different.
Yeah, if that's the argument, I agree. If we're talking about data caps, if we're talking about the internet service providers, then yes, I think that the burden lies with them. I think if you're talking about Microsoft and how they should market and have these services and this machine. It's literally, I mean, they've said designed for a tiny part of the market. So it would be counterintuitive for them to limit Xbox One X.
What if here's a crazy idea. What if they were like, you could go to a Microsoft store with a flash drive and like download your assets. Like if you lived in a rural area, like you could like mail them your. Right, they'd ship you a flash drive with the assets for your game or whatever.
Disc.
Well, I don't think they would print.
They
wouldn't print another disc for you.
No, but just have them. Like you could buy it. Maybe pay $10 extra and get everything on disc.
You might as well do a stick. It'd be cheaper to do. You could just download data. You can reuse
I don't think it. No. I just mean as another like retail purchase option, like that you just buy in a game store. That's like you get.
No, it'd be the same thing they do with the Connect dongle. You write in and you say, "Hey, I live in a crappy internet area. Here's my dongle. Put my assets on there."
It for every game individually.
I do think the easiest solution would be to make all of the 4K stuff, and maybe it is the case. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think it's been super clear. Just make all of that optional. So you throw your disc in. It's high definition, right? And you can play any game that you can play on your regular Xbox One or your Xbox One S. And then it prompts you and says, hey, we can bump you up to 4K, but it's going to be 100 gigs of a download. And then you say yes or no. And that solves the problem completely.
Totally.
That we're talking about.
Yeah,
because then you can still get all the other benefits of the One X of just generally being a higher performance thing with the option, and I think that's the way to go. But at the same time, too, I mean, I'm looking at a game like Wolfenstein: The New Order that looks gorgeous. I mean, that is a great looking game. That was, I mean, it's a little bit older, but I'm looking at the size. It's about 43 gigs. Now, do we think if that game got a 4K patch, do you think it would top 80 gigs? I mean, let's assume it doesn't, just for the sake of this. Why not put it on the disc? Is there any reason not to? I mean, the One is going to realize, oh, okay, we don't need the, like, the not X is going to, you can just realize, oh, I don't need this. I'll just install the base game. It's like having 2 games on one disc. You know, just like collections work, just like Rare Replay works. It's just, oh, you've got Wolfenstein: The New Order and you've got Wolfenstein: The New Order 4K. And then 4K is just like a DLC for the game that you can install if you want to. And obviously, Forza 17 with a 100 gig patch obviously is not going to fit.
So I looked it up. A dual layer UHD Blu-ray holds 66 gigs, and a triple layer, which I'm not sure if the Xbox One X has the capacity to read, has 100 gigs. So that would cap you out there. Yeah. A lot of games would obviously go over that.
And I feel like a lot of games could probably run in 4K under 100 gigs.
Sure, totally. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that seems reasonable. Of course, Minecraft.
Super awesome graphics edition.
But even so, like, okay, that gives you almost 60 gigs of extra working room to make that 4K patch for Wolfenstein. Just for example, I'm sure it's not going to get one because it's oldish, but I mean, a 40 gig game is pretty big. Most of the games are not that big, and I don't know. I just think not putting any of them on disc. I mean, I understand the games that are too big. That makes sense. Obviously, if you can't fit it, you can't fit it. It costs money to print a second disc with just the 4K assets on it. I mean, it would be nice if they would make a 4K version that was, you know, however much more just to offset the extra production cost.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's not going to be a lot of them. It'd probably be like a special order from the Microsoft Store type deal. But it just seems like a waste of, again, this kind of going back to this kind of issue I've had with the Xbox One in general of just what really seems like an inefficient use of space. And I mean, it's coming from a very ignorant point of view, but just comparing it to something like the 360 is you go from like 8 gig games suddenly to like 120, and they don't look that much different. Like, why is it so much bigger?
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know.
I would say they look significantly different, but
okay, but like 10 times the size.
I don't know.
Different?
It's like, okay, so look at an NES cartridge versus a Super Nintendo cartridge, or look at a CD versus a DVD when PlayStation 2 came out. I mean, when that transition happened, we thought, what? You're not going to fill 4 gigs worth of space with this stuff. Are you kidding me? Look what we're doing right now on the PlayStation 1 or whatever. And it's just, of course, you give the developers the space, they're going to fill it up. They're going to find a way. They're going to push the boundaries. And they're going to fill it up. So, we just kind of have to adjust as we go along.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
And but okay, one more, and then we'll leave it. But I don't know. I look at the Dead Rising 4 DLCs. They added almost no content. There was like a few weapons, a few character skins, some missions that all took place in the same base game. Like there was, I don't think there were any new areas except for Super Mega Ultra DLC, but that's not included. But like when I first put in Dead Rising 4, it prompted me with like a 24 gigabyte update, which was the first 4 DLCs. Why is it that big? Why is it almost the size of the game when everything takes place in the city that already exists, in the assets that already exist?
It's because 24 gigs is the new 500 megs. And you just gotta get up with the times.
I mean, I don't know. It just seems inefficient, especially in that case where it's like, why is it that big? But
yeah.
We'll leave it there.
That's what she said.
Eyo! Last news item before we close this segment down, and I know it's not Xbox related, but I couldn't pass this thing up. The Neil Druckmann of Naughty Dog, right? He was they're working on The Last of Us Part 2, and so they didn't want to get into too many details because they're still doing the Uncharted Lost Legacy stuff. But he mentioned he sent out a tweet. And the tweet says, "Today's mocap session is off to a great start." Well, what was the image that was attached to that tweet? Well, it was a pig with a mocap harness on. So Naughty Dog Studios now has motion captured pigs in their game. I'm not sure how that's going. What the point of that is, but this pig has a harness on it and is being mocapped. So the future is now, friends.
The best video game pig up to this point has got to be the pigs you can pick up and hold over your head in the Wind Waker. But I don't know if they were mocapped, so I'm not sure how much they're going to hold to these mocap pigs. I guess we'll find out.
I'm very curious myself. So there it is, guys. That is going to do it for the news. Let's move into our listener feedback. All right, listener feedback time. We got let's just dive right in. We got a lot of great questions here, and we'll start with one here from Darth Ryloth. Every time I cannot say this dude's name. Every time. Darth Ryloth asks, if you could port one game franchise to the Xbox and add achievements to it, what would it be?
Pokemon. Pokemon? Pokemon's the right answer.
Which Pokemon? All of them?
Well, he said franchise, right? Or did he say game? I thought he said...
Well, I guess he did say one game franchise, yes.
Yeah, franchise. So, Pokemon. The answer is Pokemon. I mean, I don't know what your answer is, but it doesn't matter because it's Pokemon.
Yeah, all right. Well, my answer is not Pokemon, no. My answer is Smash Brothers.
Oh, that's also... It has Pokemon in it, so it counts.
It barely has Pokemon in it.
What do you mean? There's like 6 characters that are Pokemon in that game.
Yeah, well, and then all like I was thinking of like the crap you throw around and stuff like that. Like that barely counts.
Lots of stages and items from Pokemon. No, there's lots of Pokemon in that game.
Yeah, so I know I definitely Smash Brothers. I would love to have that with achievements. Because I'm trying to think of like what the achievement list would look like for something like that. Because
it's brutal.
It would be, right? Because you got all the different characters, and so but the characters don't really level up. So
I don't mean to interrupt you, Fream, but it's funny because I had a close friend of mine just moved down to the same area down here, and he was like one of my big Smash buddies. So we have just recently started playing Smash again. So I got into the game. First of all, that game is so huge, so big. There's so much to do in that game. But I went into the challenges menu just to see what the different achievements and stuff like quote unquote achievements that you can get.
Right.
There's so much to do in that game. I think that a Smash Brothers level of a game with achievements would be brutal. Like I'm talking 300-400 hours. I'm thinking.
Oh, I bet. I mean, even like because they have all those little trophies.
Yep.
Right. Like there's probably one for collecting all the little trophies.
Yep.
You'd have to, and they do something dumb too, like play 5,000 matches of whatever. Like I feel like that would happen, or accumulate 1,000,000%. Over time, just some dumb grindy.
It would
whatever.
be like beat adventure mode with every character on expert difficulty. Like that would be the achievement.
But the thing is,
just take forever.
Don't care. I would totally finish that game. I would kill it. Like, that would be just so much fun. Yeah, absolutely love that. I don't know what the hell happened to Randy's phone, but he'll jump in and he can bother us later with what he would like. I'm sure. Let's speculate what Randy's going to say when he comes back. What's your Randy impression like?
I don't know if I could.
You got a good one?
I don't know if I've perfected
Mine was
it yet.
subpar when I did it before, but it'd be like, let's see. I'm gonna go with RuneScape.
Well, he might say that.
I think he might say that. That's what I'm putting my money on.
I was going to say Earthworm Jim, but then I realized there's already achievements for Earthworm Jim games. So
that definitely has achievements in it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see what he says. I would pick Pokemon, but essentially insert your favorite Nintendo franchise here is kind of, for me, where Animal Crossing, Mario, Zelda. I would love Metroid. Oh, God. Metroid. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just Nintendo in general, huh?
Yeah. That's what I would pick, yeah.
I mean, I can't disagree with you. Like, what did you think of? And I haven't even talked to you about the Nintendo press conference and stuff. Metroid Prime 4.
That was it. That did me in. That convinced me to get the Switch. So I will be getting a Switch probably either.
No. You said Pokemon convinced you.
Okay, it was both of them. To be fair, there was nothing released about Pokemon except we're working on an actual Pokemon game. But I won't say equally, but almost as equally as excited about Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime is one of my favorite games of all time. And so I cannot wait for Metroid Prime 4. I'll probably get it at the end of this year, but I'll probably wait until Metroid. The thing is, I'm really excited about Super Mario Odyssey, because it's so weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
Oh man, that trailer. That trailer was like mind-blowingly strange and awesome at the same time, and it reminded me of all of the best parts about Galaxy and Sunshine, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll probably cave when that game comes out.
One of my favorite the memes that came out of that once we learned about the possessing, is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Yeah.
Was Kirby, and so it had Kirby with the red hat on, and it was like, this is an important clarification. Kirby with the hat on, and then there's Kirby next to a Kirby with the hat on with a mustache. And the header said, the one on the left, Kirby has eaten Mario. The one on the right, Mario has possessed Kirby. And the only difference is that one has a mustache. Like, those are very distinctly different and horrifying things that are happening. Yet, it's important to know. I was sure, so we were vamping a little bit here. I have no idea if Randy's coming back, but I do, because I wanted to get this first, and so we didn't forget about it, was we got a new iTunes review. It was awesome. Wonderful 5-star review. Thank you very much. Chicaness. Yeah, I'm going to go with Chicaness. Back on June 2nd. And it says, listening to the ZZ podcast is much like cooking a baked potato. Whether you fancy a sprinkle of Australian imported tarragon or prefer some not-so-sour Fream, you'd better light up the grill before the weekly rain clouds start to pour in. And Proulx is there, too, sometimes.
Oh.
So, there's no clever, play on words you can do with a baked potato with Proulx.
No. I don't want to be associated with those, so that's totally okay with me.
And the potatoes don't like you either. But the sour Fream, I like the not-so-sour Fream. I'm a little more zesty, like a seasoned sour Fream.
Maybe like sour cream with lemon, maybe?
No, that would curdle the cream. Why would you do that? The acid would react with the.
I just think when I think of zest, I think of lemon. I'm sorry.
No, you put on like a seasoned sour cream. It's got what the hell's that? Paprika. You put that in there. You mix that in there. It has a little zing to it. Good stuff.
Ow.
All right, so thank you so much for that iTunes review. It was awesome. We so appreciate it. And if you, our listeners, would love to help us out and do your own 5-star, well, it doesn't have to be 5-star. I would like it to be. I hope you like the show, that you would consider that. But any sort of review would just help us out immensely. Now, Randy is back, okay? We fixed his internet issues, and Proulx and I had a little speculation about how you would answer this question. And so I'm curious about where it's going to... Now, we didn't put any money down on it, but we probably should have. But certainly for bragging rights, the question from Darth Ryloth is, if you could port one game franchise to Xbox and add achievements to it, what would it be?
Oh, man. I don't know. That's tough.
Now, I tried to do my Randy voice. It was
He
not
tried.
great.
He
It was
tried.
not great.
Well,
Proulx did
I'll
not
have to
try.
listen back to
I
it.
didn't try at all. I didn't.
So let's start with you. What did?
No,
I guess you guys already said
I'm not
it.
tainting your idea. I'm not tainting your... So if you need some time to think about it,
I almost want to say, first thing that comes to mind is Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Because Donkey Kong games have pretty much, at least until I stopped playing them, have pretty much always been good. But I'm thinking I'm thinking a Nintendo franchise, basically. I mean, like,
That's exactly where we went.
You've got
yeah.
Zelda, you've got Donkey Kong, you've got Kirby. I love Kirby. Kirby's great.
We just talked about Kirby, too.
I actually specifically, I went with a certain franchise, and then I'm like, but really, any Nintendo games
It really is.
would
I mean,
really work.
There's nothing that really grabs me on PlayStation at all.
What about
I mean,
PC?
I guess. Yeah.
That doesn't have achievements.
He's trying to steer you in a certain direction.
What you want to say? You want me to say RuneScape?
That's what I said, yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't work on a console. I mean, that would have probably been my first go-to if it would work on a console. I mean,
Mouse and keyboard support, man.
Okay, if there was mouse and keyboard support, yeah, of course, RuneScape. That's goodbye life. I mean, achievement for like maxing all,
Yeah.
200 million in every skill. I'm sure there wouldn't be, but yeah, I mean that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But
I got a slam dunk question for all of us here from Agent Yugs. Would you like to see a completion or award or achievement introduced into games? Kind of a little different than PlayStation trophies, though. But you have to get all of the DLC, like a full completion. Is that something that we want?
yep.
But
100%.
when do you determine it? That's like, how do you actually go about it? That's just my question.
I like how TA handles completions where base game and then full completion. So I
But-
think you would get like one looking trophy, like a base game trophy, or whatever you want, like a badge, a sticker, something, and then a different looking one if you got everything.
It would have
sometimes
to be.
you get a double.
It'd have to be something you could lose, though, because
Yeah, that's because
I mean, I think that'd be fine as long as it was like a challenge where it's worth 0 points. I mean, it's an extra
Oh, I
thing.
don't want points to them. I just
No.
want a sticker or a badge or something like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a ticker, a counter.
yeah, it's fair.
That's
Yeah,
how
I
would
think
do
a
it.
counter would be ideal. I mean, that's probably one of the things that I really look at on TA a lot, especially with looking at other people's profiles, is the completed games.
Yep, same.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's kind of a big deal because there's a lot. I mean, you can get a lot of Gamerscore and complete hardly any games,
Absolutely.
or you can complete a lot of games. So
Yeah, I think going that full. And granted, there are plenty of games that are super easy to complete, and that's not indicative of how hard a game is. But the fact that you went through and did everything, I think, is, that's a level of gamer that that's not to take anything away from you Gamerscore people who just go nuts on score and don't give a crap. But I personally take higher value in completions. So that's just me. Lord Chabello asks, are you guys picking anything up from the Ultimate sale? He added the meh because I don't think he thinks that these titles are terrible. Now, granted, there are over 300 that are in here, but the discounts maybe not so great. I'll admit I went through. So there was a leaked image prior to the actual sale going live from the Australian market, and so all the game boxes were on there in full display. And so I went through and I made a list of all of the titles that I saw there. That is like, oh, check out the price on those and see if they drop it enough to be interesting. And so my list had 20 games on it that I don't own. I know it's surprising because Terrigan has pretty much every game known to man. There are 20 games on there that I was like, okay, yep, these are things I want. Then the prices came out, And that dropped to 10. I said, nope, absolutely not. Cross. I crossed out half of them. And so now I'm sitting on 10 games. Okay, then I did my secondary pass, and I said, okay, out of that, what do I really want to play now, and what might I consider? I dropped that down to 8 games. And then I thought more about, okay, kind of watched some gameplay, looked at the achievement lists. Okay, what am I really going to play between now and, like, maybe the time it becomes Games with Gold or is free or the Christmas sale, really, is I guess the next time. These are all going to be probably even cheaper. And I settled on 4 games. So I'm going to buy these. Dead Island Retro Revenge. It's $2.50 for a brawl. I mean, now it's an on-rails brawler but it has zombies. Anyway, looks kind of fun. How to Survive 2 for $8. Good price. I liked the first one. Didn't play deep into the first one, but I want to do that one. The Little Acre. Looks like a fun point-and-click easy Gamerscore game for only $6.50. And then Flint Hook, which Flint Hook's not a deep discount. It's marked down to $10, which I think is like 33% off. But man, that game looks like so much fun, and it reminds me of Bionic Commando. Only you can jump with your little grappling hook and the high speed, flying all over the place. That is exactly the type of gameplay I want to see. So those are what I'm pulling the trigger on, guys. What about you? Anything out there that Proulx? What about you? Are you buying anything?
Oh, I'm sure I'll buy even more than I'm thinking about now. I'm probably going to pick up Jackbox 3 because I don't have that one yet. It's the only one I don't have, and it's pretty cheap. Oh, man, I am so non-committal to... I think this may be the sale that I finally pull the trigger on Fallout 4 Season Pass because I have the base game completed. And it's a game I'm always like, okay, I need to go back and just do the 2 or 3 expansions that came out, and I still haven't yet. There's a couple of Lego games that I'm tempted to pick up, but I probably won't just because I like to pick up the physical versions of my games if possible. There was nothing that kind of blew me away in the sale. I mean, I guess that's kind of the... you mentioned... Yeah. You mentioned the bunker, and you said it was super easy. I might pick that. Oh, I will probably end up picking up a good chunk of the Windows 10 games that are on sale.
Sure.
If it's Play Anywhere, I'll play it on Xbox. But if it's just Windows 10, I'll probably get it there. So I think I may also pick up Yooka-Laylee since it's discounted, but obviously there's not going to be a physical version of that game anyways. So that's what I'm going to pick up.
Randy, you going to buy anything?
Nope.
No money for you. Cool. Well, so it's not terrible, but it is pretty bad. And a lot of these things these are just precursors to when they go on sale later in the year. We got so on my friend feed, Terrigan, ZZ Urban Spaceman in civilian clothes. Now that he's stepped away, he made a comment on my feed. He said, "It's bean dive season, blah!" Exclamation point. And then he, when you get so excited, you just start typing ones. And then he wrote the word one, and then the number 1, and then wrote 11. Anyway, so he's excited. He's excited for bean dive. I mean, he's been in a perpetual bean dive since I met him, constantly dropping game after game after game. So Matriarch actually has a legitimate bean dive related question. For those of you who are not familiar with the bean dive, I think this community is pretty well versed into what it is, but it was invented back in the day prior to the My Games collection feature on TrueAchievements.com. A user by the name of Bean Potter thought, hey, you know what? The only way to get these games so that I can see them on TA is to put them on my gamer card. And the only way to do that is to unlock an achievement. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up all of my games and I'm going to unlock one achievement on there so that I can actually track them on TA. So what that ultimately does, though, is it because your snapshot of your completion percentage does not have those games on there. So if you add one achievement and then 49 still locked achievements, well, that plummets your completion percentage. And so the goal is, as part of the bean dive, the contest, is that you do this dive, and whatever your completion percentage starts at and goes down to, is that you spend the next 12 months recouping all that loss. That's the gist of the contest. Matriarch asks, have you ever participated in the past ones? She knows that Terrigan has. And did you find that you were able to recover that completion percentage? If you did recover, was it due to you actually playing the bean dived games, or is it because you took better care of to make sure you completed games before you started new ones? And her comment just added to that was that most of her bean dive in 2012 games still sit at 1 achievement. So she did all these, but her percentage has gone up because she finishes the new games that she puts on her tag. So let's start with the first question. Have any of you ever participated in a bean dive? Randy?
Nope. And
nope.
I don't plan on it.
No. What about you, Proulx?
Nope, not at all.
I did dive back in 2014. I threw 131 games on my tag.
Wow, that's a lot.
It dropped my completion percentage from 80% down to 35%. And no, I have not recovered. I am at 42% right now. But I keep a separate spreadsheet of all the games that I've been kind of keeping that are in my games collection. I keep track of and all this stuff. So I did some calculation. This was last year's bean dive. I did a calculation where if I did decide to bean dive, right, they've opened it up so you can have like 10 days to do it. If each game, and here's a big if, took 10 minutes to unlock 1 achievement. So sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you can get it right away. Sometimes you get it in 1 minute. Others are notorious for taking half hour before you get the first achievement. So I said, let's pretend it's only 10 minutes. It takes me 10 minutes to do. If I wanted to, given my gaming time, and where I took 2 hours a night, and I would just spend those 10 minutes and dive games, it would take me until mid-August to put all the games on my tag that I currently have access to. That's not a dive. That is like literally not playing any games of substance for 8 weeks-ish because I just have there's too many. Hence, I was just such a huge proponent of the games collection. So I'm never gonna dive again. I'm still trying to recover, but I'm falling into that trap again of just not including new games on my tag until I'm ready. So I've got a ever-growing backlog of games that you can't see on my card. They're in my games collection, most of them, but I still have like another couple hundred that I haven't even got to like, hey, let's add these to my collection and doing my little offline thing and all that kind of stuff. So, but most of the time I'm judicious about when I put a game on my tag that I have every intention of going back to it and completing it or doing a big chunk of it at a time. But with like my gaming ADD, I am all over the place. It's all about contests. I do what's needed for contests. So that's how I focus on mine. But a lot of people in the community are excited about bean dives. I mean, I'm watching feeds right now of started. So I'm glad people are excited about it. It was fun when I did one. I agree. I mean, it's cool on playing all these different things for just a little bit of time, getting a feel for it. I think I can't remember who said it, but they're like, usually within that 20 to 30 minute mark, if you're going to like a game or not. And some games take longer, some games, but you're that kind of first taste of like, okay, is this something I could see myself playing? And so many of the games I own, I get that sensation where it's like, I'll play that first half hour, be like, man, this is really great. Like, I can't wait to get back to this. Never getting back to it, of course, but it is what it is. Cool. Thank you, Terrigan, Matriarch, for that. Randy, Mighty Mango wants to issue a challenge. He challenged you to have the least amount of bean dived games this round.
That's going to be tough. I mean,
Do you have things to play that you haven't started yet?
I accept that challenge. Well, I mean, what's the official Bean Dive window? I mean, I might start like one game or something, but I mean, if you don't start a Bean Dive, but if you don't start a Bean Dive, is it a Bean Dive?
I think the technical contest runs from July 1st to July 9th, 10th, something in there. So in the first 10 days of July, you may not start a new game. It's kind of the idea to guarantee yourself at least a tie.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but it seems very possible that happens. Yeah. So.
We got
I accept that challenge.
A message from NBA Kirkland, and he asks, is there any sound bite from a game that you found annoying? He's like, I honestly got sick of hearing Claptrap saying, I'm dancing from Borderlands, and maybe it's just me. This is him talking, of course, again. Maybe it's just me, and I also got annoyed with hearing the welcome to the Circus of Values from BioShock.
I love the Circus of Values.
Love that clip. Oh my goodness, that gives
Ken
me
Levine.
the warm feelings, the warm fuzzies. I love the Circus of Values clip. It reminds me so much of BioShock.
Because it comes from BioShock.
Well, no, I know.
Yeah, but it's very iconic. It's very iconic.
Yes, it gives me it kind of transports me back to 2007, 2008, whenever it was that BioShock came out. I have one Fream I think that you'll appreciate.
Okay.
Because I played this game when it first came out a lot, and all I can ever think of when people talk about it is, he's in a tank.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my god, that's from Destiny. It's from that stupid moon mission.
Oh.
And you do that moon mission every day, all day long, because it's the only thing you could do in Destiny, because it's terrible. I'm sorry, but...
I started after there was content, so...
well,
that's not true. I still started pretty early on it, but...
and
there
of
were
course,
some parts that were a little repetitive, I get that.
I mentioned Navi as well. Of course, that's the most famous example.
Listen!
Hey, listen!
Yeah, that's pretty annoying. I didn't even think about that one. That is pretty annoying. What about you, Randy?
I mean, there are, but I just can't think of them off the top of my head, because it's a thing that's very annoying in the moment, but then you kind of forget about.
Yeah, well, you stop thinking about it because it's not pounding you in the head, and that's why. Yeah. So my example is of this most recent game, The Bunker. There's a moment, a puzzle in here, and so you're presented with a keypad to unlock a door, and the keypad very clearly has blood on some of the numbers, and so you're like, okay, like I understood the puzzle. And I'm looking at the keypad, and it's very clear what numbers they are and in what order it should go in. And so I'm like, but it's a 4-digit code, and only 3 of the keypads actually have blood on them. And so I'm doing every combination, like, okay, well, that one's deep, so maybe I have to hit that one twice, and I'm punching all these numbers in, and so the guy's like, there's blood on the keypad. Maybe I can figure this out. There's blood on the keypad. I need the code. I don't have the code. And every time I inputted something, he would say something different. And so, using those 3 numbers in any combination, I probably heard that soundbite within 20 minutes. I probably heard it like 200 times. I mean, I just kept going and going, trying to figure this stupid thing. There's blood on the keypad. I need to figure out this code. And I'm like, what the hell? So I was like, I'm just done. I'm done. I'm looking it up. I'm going to look it up. So I went on Google. Well, one of the numbers, you can't even tell there's blood on the other number. The 4th number, it looked just like a normal button. I'm like, that speck? That little speck right there? That's not blood? Get out of here. And so, of course, once they pointed out...
There's blood on the keypad.
You got to figure out the code.
Haven't you heard?
Yeah. So, anyway, then once I found the 4th number, it was like, well, yeah, duh. But... I was super frustrated with that, and I think because I was, it was so frustrating that I knew what to do, and the game wasn't letting me, and he just kept telling me, "There's blood on the keypad. I need to get this open. I need the code. Maybe I can figure out the code." And I'm like, "Gosh, just shut up! I know you need to know the code. That's what I'm working on." Anyway, so yeah, it was that was a soundbite it drove me nuts, and it was, of course, 1:45 in the morning when I got to that point. So Anyway, we had a couple comments from the community. Reset42 says, mine's comes from Return to Zork. And this was before all the internet walkthroughs. And he got stuck at this bit where the guy was saying, want some rye? Course you do. Over and over again. Want some rye? Course you do. I don't even know if that's the voice. That just sounds like a voice that would ask if you want rye. I don't know if that's like rye for bread or that's rye as an alcoholic beverage, but Philip Wendell comments and says, annoying game sound, any sound in Goat Simulator, especially the music at the fair when you're trying to do that stupid Flappy Goat achievement. That is pretty bad. And my son, and it was funny when I was listening to the Reviews Ed segment with Warren and Planting. That's the same person, Warren and Damien. And he was like, I know who the target audience is for this game. It is 9-year-olds. It is my son loves this freaking game. And I heard that, and I'm like, oh my God, my son's the same way. Like, he literally comes home to play stupid Goat Simulator on, now that he found it in my Xbox. And so he and his buddies all came over, and, like, they were jumping around doing stupid goat stuff and just being dumb. And I'm like, how are you guys enjoying this? This is such a miserable experience. And he's like, watch this. I'm going to ragdoll down the slide onto the bed. I'm going to bounce, and then I'm going to turn the jetpack on. And I'm like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. And these kids are just hysterically laughing, rolling on the floor, tears in their eyes. I mean, it is, yes, 8 and 9-year-olds. That is the target demographic for Goat Simulator. And I couldn't agree more, Philip Wendell. That is so terrible. Just terrible.
So what this is saying is Big Rigs is I need to give a copy of Big Rigs to your son so he can expose it to all of his friends, and then I'll sell 1 million copies because I've catered to the 12-year-old market.
What is the horn in Big Rigs? Does it play La Cucaracha?
There's no horn. I need a horn.
I mean, you got to
there
come
needs
up with
to be a horn.
Sound.
This is what have I done? How did I forget that? That's the most important part of a rig.
That's awesome.
All right, last
question.
See,
it's a good thing this question came in.
Yeah, look at that. He just saved your game. Thank you,
I know.
He did.
But now I'm like, actually, I'm gonna be keen to listen to annoying game sounds now that he's mentioned this. Like for the next couple of days, I'm gonna be like, oh God, that is annoying. Gosh, just stop talking.
I think the key is it's something repetitive, like unnecessarily repetitive.
Yeah.
That is just like the blood on the keypad thing. Like there's nothing put into the game that says, okay, I should stop saying this now.
Yeah, right.
Or something that loops unnecessarily or very quickly. But, we were actually just talking on when we were playing Killer Instinct about how excellent the sound, the combo breaker is and how satisfying it is. Even though it's very repetitive, it's so satisfying. And the announcer in Killer Instinct is amazing.
And I mean, because it's not doing something in terms of you being frustrated or your inability to function. That is a reward for getting your combo break or something. Yeah. So there's a positive feeling there.
Yeah, in the same way that the Halo announcer, double kill, triple kill, like that guy is the same kind of a thing. So
right. So Saucy Slingo, last question or last comment here is he said, awesome games done quick starts this upcoming Sunday and lasts the entire week. What game are you excited to see run? And he put a link in there for the entire game schedule. Of course, when this comes out, you'll be halfway through. You'll likely come, but most of this stuff you should be able to go back and stream. So while you, Proulx, and Randy take a look at the site and come up with some topic or some games here, I made a list. I went through and I looked at. So there's 8 games here that I thought, oh yeah, these would be fun to watch. And like that entire list, I mean, there's a ton of games that people are doing. And the amount of time that they're saying they're going to complete these things in blows my mind. So I'm going to go down my list and just say how ridiculous I think some of these are. And maybe they're not. Maybe I'm just clueless. But starting off, a Halo Legendary run in an hour and 36 minutes.
I can see it.
In Combat Evolved, the original.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how it would be done, but I can just like in my mind, I've just played so much of that game.
Yeah.
I can just see somebody like
doing that in an hour and
grenade
36.
jumping over some barrier and just getting to places they shouldn't be. I could see somebody really good at that game doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be really fun to watch. Honestly.
So we've got a 100% Metroid Prime run in an hour 45.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
That blows my mind.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to go to so many different planets. You got to get all your different things and scan everything.
Yep.
In an hour 45, I just don't see it. Similarly, 100% in Guacamelee in an hour 22. That one's a little easier because you don't have to scan stuff, but that's still, I mean, that's a big world. I mean, you got to be like zipping all over the place once you get all those abilities. I'm very curious how that plays out. I got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And I don't know exactly what this meant, but it said all goals and gold in 19 minutes.
So I think that's like all the goals, like, you know, do the whatever trick in this thing in the park. Like, you know how all the parks had like 10 goals? So you had to do like 6 of them to get to the next park. I think what that is it's like you have to do all 10 of those goals in every park to, you know, meet that requirement.
Yeah. And so then in, because how many levels are there in Pro Skater 2? There's only like 6 levels or 8 levels.
Yeah, like 8, I would say 7 or 8, I think.
So let's say it's 8, and they're like 2-minute runs, right? So that means just to play them all once is 16 minutes. So like you literally have to do everything in one run.
That's probably the point.
Yeah.
Is you're doing a perfect run.
That
Basically.
sounds nuts.
Yep.
We've got Ninja Gaiden on the Master System, finishing the game in 22 minutes.
Jeez.
I don't remember that game, and so I'm not even sure how, you know, if 22 minutes is possible or not. This one, so many of them that, you know, if they're going for like a straight completion, like a percentage, some of them will say, you know, no glitches or, you know, doing it legit kind of thing. So this one has to be a glitch, that there's an exploit here. Marble Madness, completing the game in 5 minutes. There's got to be an exploit somewhere, right? Like the Mario 3 thing, where like you can find a way to move on. I can't imagine you actually can finish it.
Most of these games, I think, most speedrunning is exploiting some kind of, at least a skip in some way. I mean, it's like, I'm looking at this one. Banjo-Kazooie, 100%, 2 hours 20.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy. That's insanity, huh?
I mean, that's like a 20-hour game if you've played it before. I want to see, I don't know how...
I mean, I'm super intrigued by all these. The last two I have, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Randy, how long do you think that took you to beat?
I don't know.
Just like
everything in?
Just main story. So any percentage is what this dude's doing. Main story, and
5
the stipulation
hours?
is no out of bounds. So completing the game, any percentage, no out of bounds.
It probably took 5 hours, the main story.
Yeah, he's doing it in 40 minutes.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, there's.
I mean, you can essentially just walk right to the end, right?
Have you seen the guy that did Fallout 3 in 15 minutes or something? I mean, he used a bunch of glitches and stuff, but I mean, there are glitches you can do where you like double, triple your speed and things like that. I mean, I don't know if they're present in Oblivion, but there are games like that.
No, I get
or
that.
Or glitches like that. And that you can exploit, and yeah, that's like you just kind of, I mean, there are quests you have to do, but you can skip a lot of stuff by just going for it.
Someone is going to try to beat Mario Kart 64, 150cc, all cups, in 35 minutes. That's impressive. That is.
I mean, and we're talking that's in game time, right? That's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't count load times or anything like. There's.
No, I think they usually do.
They just start the clock straight, and you have to go. Wow.
I mean, I don't know, but most of the speedrunning stuff that I've watched is like from the time you press start to the time that the credits roll.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Regardless of what's in between.
Super Mario 64, all 120 stars, 1 hour 55 minutes.
Super Mario
That
64 has the
my mind.
craziest following.
It blows my mind.
That game is the people that play that game all the time just blow me away.
My 12-year-old self says BS because it took me all summer to get 120 of those stars. Thank you very much, people.
You clearly haven't seen the half A press, okay? You don't understand until you've done half an A press.
I love that game. I would watch a speedrun of that game. That would actually be really interesting.
Have you actually?
It's only an hour and a half out of your day.
I know I should. Maybe I will actually.
Just watch it. Watch it on double speed. Even better. It's like 45 minutes. But have you watched the half A press video and like that guy's videos?
No. Oh, I've seen like some analysis of the speedrun of
Oh no!
Mario 64,
Okay, well, this guy, so it's crazy. He's like I want to call him a modder, but it's not. But like the guy finds crazy glitches and like ways to do stuff in the game.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, like every time there's like a new video from him that is big, I just like go down this rabbit hole of all his videos. It's like
he goes super in depth, right?
It's this is why this weird thing happens here because of like this memory limitation, because of this system limitation, because of like it just goes and it's like, who cares if you could only hold 255 coins?
Yes,
but it's awesome. But it's like his videos are awesome. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That is pretty nuts. The last one I have here, and this is just because it's one of my favorite games, is a glitchless run of Earthbound, and they're going to do it in 4 hours and 40 minutes. Now, I think like literally 2 hours of that is just the combat loading screens. Like I try, because that's pretty. You have to get jacked up before you can actually like auto kill dudes and stuff. That's a pretty long game. There's a lot of. I mean, that's a straight up RPG. So I have no idea how that's even possible. So crazy stuff. Thank you, Saucy, for that. If you're interested, go to this is what Summer Games Done Quick, or Awesome Games Done Quick.
Just gamesdonequick.com.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones. Yep. So yeah, man, some of those speed runs, they're fun to watch, but that's a different. I mean, that's like us with achievement hunting. Right, that's a different set of exploiting rules and loopholes, and just playing the game within the game type of thing.
I've said this to people before, but I think the only people more hardcore than achievement hunters in terms of like ridiculous dedication are speedrunners. It's crazy stuff that speedrunners find.
It's a kind of a similar set of skills in a lot of ways. I mean, it's a metagame over the actual game. It's you're trying to control exactly how the game plays more than the rules are laid out in front of you. So it's actually I think there's a big overlap between achievement hunters and speedrunners.
I just think speedrunners are more dedicated. I mean, achievement hunters are crazy people.
I don't know. I don't know if it's more dedicated. They're more dedicated to particular games.
But maybe. I don't know. It's just like the exploits that speedrunners find are just so much more in depth than the exploits achievement hunters find. And I think it's because everything is so much more in depth. It has to be.
Yeah, they do some very some of it I don't even understand how. Well, I guess I could say the same thing about achievement hunting. Because I don't even understand how you find these things. Like I can't imagine like going out and looking for if I jump into this pit just right and I do this and this, then why would you even think to do that? Like jump over the damn pit. Like that's a whole different level of insanity. Great. So yeah, that was it for that. Let's we're kind of gearing to the end of the show here. What do you guys plan to do this upcoming week? What's on the gaming agenda with especially Randy? You got long. We all have long weekends ahead of us. Randy, what do you be working on?
Well, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm looking at my random to-do list, and there's some good stuff on there. So I might take on. We've got Prey, which is one that I've been wanting to do for a long. Got 2 achievements in Prey. That one I've been wanting to do for a long time. I mean, there's Skylanders on there, which is fun. Got Zoo Tycoon. I always look forward to getting Zoo Tycoon because I really like that game, and Random To-Do List gives me some motivation to play it, and Volgar is on there.
Yeah.
I don't like that game.
You guys love Volgar.
Volgar is also on my list. I am not entirely sure I'm doing that one.
But I'll probably play some of that. I've been meaning to get back to and play some more music games again too, so I might do that too. But we'll see. I haven't totally decided yet.
Gotcha. Prue, what's your plan?
I'm gonna keep plugging away at tomorrow specifically, me and Fu Cuddly Poof are going to be working on the last Halo 3 ODST achievements, which is just the collectibles. Apparently, if you're going to do them in co-op, you need to do them all at once, so maybe next week you'll hear whether or not we were successful. I'm going to be doing the Dragon's Dogma stuff and the Clicker Heroes ongoing. That's an ongoing thing. And other than that, yeah, I'll probably take a really good look at my random to-do list and try to find some stuff that I can get done on there.
Yeah. I'm also eyeballing my random to-do list. I don't have as many, so I curated my list this week. I was getting kind of like what Terrigan did last time. I didn't do it to that extent, but I put on the games. It's like I want to finish these. Like I'm hoping achievements from these come up, because if they do, then I'm just gonna say, okay, focus on that game. I'm gonna try to complete it and just get it off of here. And then those are my like guaranteed every month. That list is going to be something that you can pull from. And, are games that I want to finish, okay? So there are, I think, like 2,000 achievements on that one. Yeah, 2,000 achievements in that pool. So then I go through and I look at what do all those games start with from a letter perspective. And then I look and see, okay, well, where's my gaps then for the Gamertag Challenge, okay? Well, so I need to supplement with some E's, some I's, some K and V's, some L's, right? So I pull in my Tier 1 list, which I'm calling games that it's like, yeah, if I needed a letter, these are the games I'm gonna pull first because they're fun or they're easy completions or something I want to do, and so I add those to my active games collection. So that grand total is like 3,200 achievements that gets pulled from. Well, that's all fine and good, but I didn't get anything with an M, I didn't get anything with an N, an E, a G, an S. So I have all these gaps still in my Gamertag Challenge. I'm like, well, so that kind of worked, I guess, but this is what I'm looking at. Crisis, Lego, the movie, Lego Marvel, Letter Quest, Overcooked. Get to play some Overcooked. That'll be fun. But I think the big thing I'm going to focus on immediately is probably World to the West. I got 2 achievements on that, and I really enjoyed playing that last month. The one other thing, and this is a huge tragedy, aside from the, having that Volgar achievement on my freaking tag that I'm not happy about, is I got Age of Empires on there. And, of course, it's the Warlord achievement for getting 2,000 crowns. Okay, so I did a quick calculation. I'm all about math today. I'm at 355 crowns of my 2,000. So given that the month of July, and of course, well, I guess still it's technically just starting in July when this is recording, I need 1,645 crowns, and so if I divide that by 31 days, I need to get 53 crowns per day, which then, okay, let's say I do that every 24 hours straight, I need 2.2 crowns per hour without sleeping. I can usually get 1 per go, and then to replenish my troops, it takes 15 minutes. So I literally, to get that achievement, need to play and get 1 crown every 20 minutes for 27 days. I don't think I'm getting that this month.
You can probably get a reroll on that one, is my guess.
Well, technically, I have control of the spreadsheet. I can just re-roll whatever the hell I wanted, but it's not in the spirit of things.
A fair re-roll.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of achievements, like a go for the gold.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, I'm not I get 10 per month. That's kind of my goal. I've identified more than 10 that I'm eyeballing. That's not gonna, because let's just say Volgar is not happening this month. I am definitely not going to Nidhogger all the ale.
Hey, that's the same one I got.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's the one where you have to
that's awesome.
beat it without getting hit, right, or something.
Kind of. I mean,
ending C or something or whatever it is.
Yeah, so you have to get the good ending, but it's like, well, you have to get most of the way through the game with a good ending, I think. But you can die, I think. But if you die, or if you get hit, you pretty much die anyway because the game's stupid and it's poorly designed.
It's so poorly designed.
And so, I mean, yeah, you pretty much have to get through the whole game without getting hit, which is stupid and poorly designed. But yeah, man, I hate that game so much. So much. 15 to 20 hours, that is a lie. That is a lie.
Well, it's like Geometry Wars, the first one. It's like, oh, it's a 2-hour completion. Yeah, if you're freaking amazing at twin stick shooters,
who says? Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, in theory, it's one playthrough that you, in theory, could do in less than 2 hours. Like, it's totally possible.
Yeah, well, like finishing Super Mario Brothers 64 in 1:40. Yeah, sure. I guess it's theoretically possible.
It's theoretically possible. It's remarkably unlikely and insane, but it is theoretically possible. So that's kind of my plan. Again, random to-do list. Getting started on the month. I'm looking forward to it. I'll have to go through and look and see if anything applies for the MOCAS for July here. But, that'll do that. What about knobs and discos? We have anything? Anything we should touch on?
I don't think we have anything this week. Not that I'm aware of.
Same. So there might be. Who knows? Great. Okay, well, I guess we can just kind of... No, I gotta talk about this. And actually it's True Achievements actually broke this little story here, but there's a board game out there called Dead Exit. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen this. It's essentially it's a board game. It uses cards and it has to do with surviving a zombie apocalypse. It's actually it's a pretty fun board game, but they're making a video game out of it. They're applying it to this. So anyway, if you're interested, you can watch. It's like a 12-minute interview with the creative director here. I think that's who that is. About the game, about the making of and stuff like that. So it's definitely worth your time. You should take a look. It's cool stuff. I'm like I said, the game is fun. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you enjoy it.
Z to Z Podcast presents Review Zed.
All right, so this week on Review Zed, I am joined back here with Warren. Hey, Warren.
Howdy.
And we will be reviewing a reissue on a game that I don't think either of us originally played, which is Voodoo Vince Remastered, which is the remastering of the original Voodoo Vince, which was for the original Microsoft Xbox back in, looks like that was originally released in September of 2003. This was released in April of 2017 by publisher and developer Beep Games. They're the original developer, but it was originally published by Microsoft. So, you about to say something?
I was going to say, it looked as though because they're in the ID program now with the remastered, that's why they're their own publisher and developer, whereas originally it was probably done by Microsoft since they put out a disc, it looks like.
Yeah. So, I never played the original game. You didn't either. So, I will say it as a remastering goes, I mean, obviously, I don't have I can't go crack out the original game to compare it to. It definitely, you could tell where this had, I mean, again, 2003, that's 14 years ago. I think I wasn't a big platform gamer on Xbox, the original Xbox. I was more of I did all my platforming on PlayStation, but again, it reminded me, I think Spyro the Dragon would have been out relatively around the same time period, and it kind of, a lot of it looked like that in the sense of just the very polygoned graphics. I mean, obviously this is cleaner, it's a remaster, but you can really tell where it had come from.
Oh yeah, the camera is still just a little clunky, but yeah, visually they've cleaned it up immensely.
Yeah, so so I guess now I will say with the story on this game is, I liked it. So without giving away the spoilers, but you are a voodoo doll by the name of Vince that has come to life because your master has been kidnapped, and she was a voodoo witch. And when kidnapping her, they were going after her magic potion, which had spills all over the place, turning you alive, and a bunch of other things. And it all takes place in New Orleans, air quote New Orleans. It's not based on an actual map of anything, but again, it's all of that kind of atmosphere. I don't see stories like this nowadays. That's where you could definitely tell this was a game that it seems like, hey, this is a lot of storytelling on this. This seems like something back in the early, 2000 type. I mean, and not a bad thing. It's just, it's kind of cool to go back to, especially if you never had played it. And I think if you had played it, this is probably a very memorable game.
I would agree. The thing that really kind of gets me, I guess, is when we first talked about doing the game, the TA calls this a platformer. I'm like, oh, no, not more platforming. I'm horrible at it. This is not, in my opinion, really a platformer. There's platforming, granted, but it's more of an adventure. So although there is jumping, collecting, and whatnot, it's tied into enough of a story, enough of a background that you don't think of it as mindless platforming. You think of it more as, well, I need to go over there because I need to advance this so I can talk to that guy. Or it's I don't know.
No, I know exactly where you're going with that. It's kind of, it seems to span the two genres of an adventure, but then also platform, because there is definitely, and I'm not sure how far through you've gotten, but yeah, as you go along, there's definitely sections of it where you're jumping from, but it's a 3D platformer, very Mario 64-esque. When you came into that land of, it's a platformer, it's Mario, but you have that rotating camera on the right, your right trigger, or not trigger, your right thumbstick is camera, left thumbstick's controlling your character, and then you do your jumping and you gain your abilities and whatnot. I think overall very cutesy, but you can definitely tell, I think we had talked about it a little bit offline, was the clunkiness of some of the controls. Definitely very, again, it's a remastering, and some of it, I would like to have somebody that's actually played the original game to this one and say, oh yeah, they totally tightened up the controls, or no, it seems like they pretty much kept them. Again, like there were certain sections I was going through which were just, again, it's that you miss it by a hair type thing, and the way that the camera's spanning, again, I don't see it where it's been remastered and really dramatically improved upon. Not necessarily bad. It was a good game, but I'm not sure how much of it's a remastering versus a reissuing.
There's that, and there's also the forgiving nature of it. Whereas when I think of platformer, typically I'm thinking of things like Frogger, where you screw up once, you're dead, the car ran over you, or you fell off the log. Whereas in this game, it's you need to collect items, or you need to do a particular thing. Like early on in the game, for instance, you're trying to light particular items on fire. If you, for some reason, you fall off, no big deal. Everything is still there the way you left it. You just continue on. It's the easiest, most forgiving, I should say, platformer I've played in a very long time.
Yeah. No, it's good in that sense. You can do some of the exploits. So if you go later and you're doing all the pickups in a level, if you do die on your last life without having saved, everything goes back to where it was. You have to go back and recollect everything, at least from the time of the last saving. However, it saves whenever you go out of a stage and go into a stage. So, for example, I was going through the manor part, and you have to follow this. If you get to the stage, you'll know what I'm talking about. You die repeatedly. So what would happen is if I got 5 of the pickups, I would just go walk out of the room, go back into the room. Okay, those 5 are saved. I don't have to go collect them again. And that way, if I ran out of lives, I could just, start back up and not have to worry about some of the pickups. So again, some exploits you can do like that. You can also go back to early stages and just pick up a bunch of lives if you need. Like, hey, I can go get some. Again, I'm having my son play Super Mario World, and it reminds me of that. Oh, hey, just go to the top secret area and go get your feather, and you can go grab a Yoshi if you need it. Or okay, here, go collect a few lives. So if you're only going to play for a few minutes, you're not like, I need 20 lives, but. Okay, maybe I'll go grab 3 or 4. Okay, I'm at 8. I'll be good. I can get through the stage without having to replay everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, overall, actually, I was asked by, I'm not sure, is Yoda a listener? If not,
I don't think so, tell you the truth.
Yeah, you're having a shout out here, Yoda, and you don't even listen, so you'll miss this. But he asked me, before the review, right? He's like, hey, he saw me, I was playing it. He's like, hey, should I get the game on sale? Because right now, as the time of review, we seem to be running into this. $9.74 down from, so this game is originally $14.99. We forgot to mention that at the beginning, but it's right now on sale for $9.74. So he was going like, hey, is it worth it when you're getting it on sale like that? I think, yeah, for a platformer game, $9.74, definitely reasonable price. $14.99. You know what? I would even say, Aaron, that's not a bad price for what this game, is. The amount of story time and all that's put into this, as it was from an original game. If you had never played the original game before, I think $14.99 is not a bad price, especially to kind of sit there and go and maybe appreciate some of the. Again, I don't know. I didn't know it from the original Xbox, but again, I was more of a PS guy at the time. But this might really be seen as one of those really overlooked games of the Xbox because, again, that was not. It just the Xbox, while popular console, it didn't have the following that the 360 had, in my opinion. So, I'm sure this is a game a lot of people didn't know about. Yeah.
In my opinion, usually. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, usually I shoot for like $1 an hour kind of thought process. If the game costs $10 and you get 10 hours out of it, or give or take, then it's a pretty good bang for the buck. Especially if it's visually pleasing, you're having a good time with it. This is one of those games where I've actually enjoyed playing. It's not a chore. It's just fun to sit back and have a blast with it. And for the fact that TA considers it 8 to 10 hours, granted that's with a walkthrough or with guides. The 974 is well within that range. Therefore, yes, if you enjoy platformers, if you enjoy platformery adventures, I would totally say go for it.
Yeah, and just for the achievement people out there, so this is a play anywhere title, but if you play it on PC, you will not be able to get one of the achievements. So one of the achievements is only unlockable on console, and that is going to all of the shops in the square. Square is like the third, I think it's the third stage you go to. So if you do want to get 100% completion on it, make sure you play it on Xbox One. You might want to go and look at basically to summarize the walkthrough on it, you have to hit all the shops in the square before you unlock the next stage. If you unlock the next stage, you've done it out of sequence and you won't be able to unlock it without starting a new save. So it is technically, it's not a fully unobtainable, it's just a little finicky, and it doesn't work on Play Anywhere.
Just to correct that, actually, you don't need to do a whole new save. It's actually just you can do a chapter select from the menu.
But I think the chapter select has to be done. 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 Chapter select has to It's not through the level select. Like you get that train and you go back. You can't do it that way. You have to actually go back and like play like a boss fight. You can't go back and replay the boss fight from the map. You have to go back through the full level select, just because there are 2 ways to go about between the worlds.
My bad. Yep, I misunderstood.
Well, no. But you're right. You don't have to like start a whole new game, but you do have to do it through level select. You can't just go map back over there because certain pickups aren't respawned as the story progresses. You have to like almost rewind the story. So kind of tricky. If you're playing the game, you'll get the difference.
Yeah, you'll notice there's a train which moves you around, and then there's the level select on the main menu. The level select on the main menu will help, train will not.
Exactly. So I think other than that, though, so back to our original things, I think for both of us, it was definitely one worth checking out. Again, unless you hate platformers, then you're missing out.
Well, here's the thing. I hate platformers, and I still recommend this. So, yeah. You know what? Even if you hate platformers, drop the money on it. You'll have fun.
All right. Okay. Well, until next week, everyone, thanks for listening, and back over to the show.
Peace, guys.
So yeah, that'll pretty much do it for the show, guys. I want to thank everybody for listening. All of you out there who continue to support us and listen to the show, thank you so much. We had a lot of fun recording this tonight. If, like I said earlier, if you guys could help us out, iTunes reviews, just send the feedback. Continue with the social media, promote the show, let other people know, tell your friends. That is just wonderful. If you missed anything or you want to go back and take a look at some of the links, you can check our website, z2z.com. Show notes, credits, all stuff like that. We mentioned the many ways to get a hold of us. Twitter at Z2ZZEDTOZED. Email directly, contact at z2z.com. And of course, each individual, Proulx, why don't you let people know where they can find you?
Me on Twitter at oneofdan. That's the number 1, not the word. And of course, anywhere else at Proulx and just how it's spelled.
Yeah, just how it's spelled.
Yeah, everybody can figure that out. I hope everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about.
It's spelled Proulx.
Proulx.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely would not spell your name correctly for Proulx. So, for posterity's sake, it's Proulx. For those who care. What about you, Randy? Where can people track you down?
You can get me on Twitter at Randy2727 or True Achievements, where my gamer tag is Crandy.
Crandy, like Randy with a C, which is
Correct.
Exactly it. And I've been Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE. That is my Twitter handle. That is my gamer tag. That is how you can reach me pretty much everywhere. And most importantly, you can come chat with me at the in my Discord server, kind of where the Z2Z community has moved, even though technically it's not affiliated, but it kind of is. Discord.me/Freamhole. Again, don't forget that W. Fream is in his entirety. That's the beauty of it. So with that being said, on behalf of Proulx and Randy, I have been... I can't forget about Damien and Warren, who somewhere in there snuck in a review Zed. Well, maybe it'll be after this. Who knows? You will have heard it, though. All this inside baseball talk. And I have been Brandon, by the way. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode. Hey everybody, let's do a quick community roundup. We got a start of a brand new month. It's July, so there's tons of stuff going on. But let's start with the GTA SC right now. Period 25 is in the books. And as far as teams go, we've got 49 teams left. So we are definitely in the home stretch. We're currently eliminating 4 per week. So I don't know how long that's going to end up, but, it's crunch time now. And the Smooth Sailing Award once again goes to the Punching Kangaroos. They finish in 8th place for the week. That, of course, is ZZ Urban Spaceman, Chin Doctor, Sea Monkey, Grug, and Montana 97. Nobody really for a near miss. Everyone who went on was relatively comfortable. But we did have an elimination from a listener, or at least a forum contributor, Wallrunner Ninjas team, the Knights of Ren Volume 2. They were eliminated this last week. In the individual side of the contest, we are down to 129 individuals. The Smooth Sailing Award goes to Chin Doctor, who got 12th place overall. Nice work on that one. And there were no eliminations, but we had two very, very near misses. Both, we'll start with Tropan, 1 point or 1 spot above the elimination. He was less than 200 TA away after using 2,000 points worth of bonuses. So he was in big trouble. Thankfully, he had done well on the bonuses for the year and was able to jump himself to last place, to 129th place. And just 20 points above him was Saucy Slingo. So 2 spots from elimination and just 20 points higher than Tropan. So nice work, you guys. Great job staying alive for period 26. If you haven't noticed, random to-do lists are up. If you didn't get a new random to-do list, then you didn't unlock an achievement in June. So if you want to get into July, just post in the forums and say, hey, can I get back in, please? And we would be happy to add you back into the spreadsheet. We just, want to make sure you're still interested. So if you're hearing this and don't have a random to-do list, you should sign up. They are awesome. You get, of course, 25 achievements each month of varying ratios that are off your games collection. I pruned my games collection down quite a bit, so I got a nice smattering of achievements to work through. But one of those is the Age of Empires that I think I mentioned earlier in the show. That's not going to be fun. Anyway, so get working on those, get started, and good luck. As far as our community challenge of the month, well, of course, over at trueachievements.com, it is the Bean Dive currently going on. Bean Dive Day is July 7th every year. And so the week it started on July 1st, and it's going through the 9th, I believe. That will be your period to start Bean Dives. And a Bean Dive, of course, is just unlocking a single achievement to get that game on your card. You're more than welcome to participate. It's fun. It's great. But here at Z2Z, we are doing the anti-Bean Dive as far as our community challenge. And so every game that you Bean Dive is a great candidate to just finish in the month of July. Doing so, obviously, will increase your completion percentage, but will get you entries into our random draw. So any game that you complete in the month of July will get you 1 entry. So it can be anything, as long as it's a game. That's very important. I'm not doing apps for this. So they have to be games. Of course, there's plenty of easy completions out there. So any completion gets you 1 if you just so happen to start and complete in the month of July. Well, that gets you some bonus entries. All the details are in the forums. Take a look and be sure to post those completions in the forums when you get them, or at least by the end of the month. And then, and of course, if you haven't posted your June accomplishments, for the gamer tag, all I have to do is say I completed it, and we'll do a search on you. As far as the MOCAS or the challenge of the month, you have to post your accomplishments so that we can go and verify them and take a look at them. The gamer tags for the month of July, we just finished Giant Hunger. Well, we have 2 in July this month, is Angel SK and McLovin Legend 1. Completing either of those will get you 10 entries if you do no substitutions. If you complete both of them, you can get up to 20. So you can double your chances by doing both tags. There's some nice crossover there. Plenty of duplicate letters, so simply earn 2 achievements in that game. Right? If you have an N for Angel SK and the N in McLovin, that can be the same game. They just have to be different achievements. Now, the 2 N's in McLovin Legend, those have to be different games. Them's the breaks. And if you have any questions, you can just always look into the contest rules in the forums, forum.z2z.com. Finally, the MOCAS for the month of July has been posted. It's called Name That Game. Very clever here, MSUR. And the way it works is you unlock achievements in a specific game, And whatever the achievement begins with needs to start to spell out the letters in the game. So M. Sewerin put a couple of examples into the post. For example, he used Destiny, which just so happens to have an achievement that starts with a D, an E, an S, a T, an I, an N, and a Y. Well, look at that. It spells the word Destiny. So unlocking those 6 achievements, 6, 7, Destiny, that's 7 letters. Unlocking those 7 achievements will get you more entries, bonus entries into the pool, whereas simply unlocking individual letters, so he uses Super Bomb Rush, where that game doesn't have any R's. So you obviously can't unlock 2 of those, so you just get credit for the achievements you unlock in the title. So look for those titles that you can complete. I mean, it's all about completions. It's all about starting and finishing. I mean, there's lots of ways you can double dip in this week's or this month's challenges at the Z2Z forums. Finally, like I mentioned, post anything from June to let us take a look at it. You've got a few days. Take a look into the forums. You can type a word, search for closing. Closing will show you any of the contests that are currently closing. Of course, when they flip over to ended, that means I have rolled the results and it's done for. Now, with the Gamerscore, I posted the results of that one, and I've had 3 people so far come to me and say, "Hey, you totally missed me." That's gonna happen. I had so many entries to keep track of, and they all came from different spots. So I'm terribly sorry about that. But I have updated all the spreadsheets and taken a little gander and updated any of the scoring. Now nothing has changed in terms of Mattism's win. Or the random draw for Grug. I'm maintaining that. However, I will do a secondary draw once I get everybody in the pool. So Spooky and Tropan and who else did I miss? Fug. You guys will have an opportunity. I will do one more draw. I'll probably end up just waiting till I do all the draws for July. I think that makes the most sense. So, if I missed you, if you submitted something and I didn't get it, I saved everything. It's just, I probably clicked on it and it went away. So there we have it. And I think that's about it. Good luck this week. Good luck this month. Have fun at the Bean Dive. At the end of the month, keep your eyes open for a True Achievements contest that is, in the vein of... I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to say. But we're locking something in for the end of the month after the Bean Dive. It should be a ton of fun. We've got our events planned out quite a bit. Now, there's just some coding and stuff that needs to go into them. So we've got the True Achievements contest over at trueachievements.com. We've got the Z2Z contests over at forum.z2z.com. And the place to chat about all of those and interact with the community, find boosting sessions for anybody you need help doing something with. Like, I got some Dad Beat Dads games. Hey, let's do some boosts. Although I think that's a local only. Anyway, doesn't matter. Find some boosting partners. It's great. You can come visit us at Discord. This is my personal Discord server, discord.me/Freamhole. That's FREAMWHOLE. That's a permanent link, so you can give it to anyone. You can always come and jump into the chat. It's a ton of fun. So with that, I guess that'll do it. I hope you guys have an awesome month. And you're listening to this after the 4th of July, so I hope you had a fantastic 4th of July, and you still have all of your fingers and toes to play video games. Not that you play video games with your toes, but at least your fingers. You didn't blow any off in a freak fireworks accident. That would be dreadful. Other than that, I will catch you all next week. See ya.